motherfucker steps out is
Peace, power, and prosperity. Rob Blackstorm, welcome, 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 y'all. I have two very special, powerful guests. Kemetic Priest, I would call them prophets, wise elders, wise brothers, and we're here to talk about how to tap into your superpowers, all right? How to get this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And we're going to be using ancient Kemetic wisdom. If you don't know what Kemet is, this is ancient Egypt. This is where a lot of the new religions took their cues from, took their knowledge from, remixed it, uh, shaped it, and molded it into different forms based on our blueprints that we had in ancient Kemet, in particular the Nile Valley region. So I'm not going to waste too much time since I had you guys waiting, but welcome. Shout out to Sid in the building. Shout out to the Modest Moore. Shout out to Goddess Music in the building. All right, welcome. If you're here, you can drop a comment, hit that like button. And without further ado, I'm going to bring up the brothers now. First and foremost, I'm going to bring up brother Khepera, Ptah. What's up, brother? How are you? Hetepu.
All right, good brother. It's the Hatepu Imbu to our winter. All praises be to the divine. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me on your show. It's always a
I
pleasure.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. We're
Just
going
want
to
to make
bring the
sure
wild.
that you
Go ahead. Go ahead.
okay. Just want to make sure that you got me because sometimes my I've been having a few issues with this device.
Yeah, I got you. You're a little choppy, but
Cool.
we're going to make it work. We're going to make it work. If you got to hop in and hop out, we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen, all in the ancestors' time. Let's do this with brother. I got the next guest, special guest, the elder brother Ptah Asar. All right, welcome, brother.
Dua, Dua. I would like to say divine greetings to all our listening families and friends across the country and around the world. Panata, Apupamaat, Uncle Jet, Uncle Jas Neb, Ubinapike, Panabuharu Maati. Welcome to Ra, is Black Storm and the show on YouTube. And I am honored to be a guest on your show. Siba, Dua.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now I know, brother Ptah, you
Dua.
want to do a cosmic invocation of the ancestors and a greeting and a prayer to start this off. So yeah, I'm ready. Let's get it. Bring the good energy to the family.
Oh my goodness, I apologize for that. Let me just turn on airplane mode. Oh shoot. My
That's
goodness.
okay.
Oh,
That's okay. I thought we lost you to Matrix, brother. That's all right. Take your time. We got plenty of time.
Imbu. Imbu to our Italian Ptah. We ask for Ptah open up the way so that all technology will work in our favor. Hata.
That's it. That's it.
Communication, favor, Hatapu. Uncle Jasina.
Well, let's talk about while
All right, you
brother
got your brother
Ptah puts
Ptah?
it together. Yeah, while he gets it together and puts things. And if you got to log back in and log out, brother Asar, it's okay. We'll keep it rocking and rolling till you get back on the field, so to speak. So, brother Khepera, while he's getting everything together and putting everything back together.
all right, we're breaking up here. Where we at here?
Okay, can you hear me? You guys can hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay.
There we go.
All right, brother Asar, you back on. You ready? You ready
Begin
to
the
do
show.
the invocation?
Send it to the elder, and let me begin by saying,
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, hopefully he comes back in. All right, so just me and you, Khepera, for now. So let's go into it. I know you were on the channel before. While the brother comes back in, we'll do the invocation and things like that. Um, Now, talk to me about your name. What is the meaning of your name, Khepera Ptah? What is the meaning of that spiritually? How does that coincide with your spiritual growth and development? And what's the energy that resonates behind your name?
So Khepera is Ra in the morning. That is the rising sun. Khepera also means coming into being and transformation. And Ptah was the nectar of Mennefer or Memphis. Ptah deals with architecture, the blacksmith, the craftsman, the artisan. So you might could say Khepera Ptah means bringing a new foundation into being, you know. So it's kind of like a Sankofa day. I'm going back to the ancestors, but I'm also renewing self through constant transformation. And I took on the name Khepera because, first of all, I felt like I was going through a lot of changes, a lot of transformations. Um, Back in the day, I had a tag name as Copper Top. So I took that name and I decided I was going to get away from that vibration. And I took on the name Khepera Ptah. So when I got involved more with elders, I eventually ran across a brother by the name of Hedi Kafra. We made many libations go out to his Ka, Uncle Jasaneb. He is in spirit, he's an ancestor now. But he gave me the name Khepera Ptah Jehudi Amen because he was actually the priest I have been initiated into through Hedi Kafra, as well as I studied under Baba Heru and Grand Samaj Ptah. So Khepera Ptah represents me transforming and evolving and constantly renewing my foundation, in which I believe that we, each and every one of us, have been tasked to do while we're living upon this planet. We got to constantly renew ourselves. Sometimes we're going to build another temple. We got to put in a foundation and we got to build upon that. So when you look at Ptah, he stands upon an object called the Ma'ab. So the Ma'ab, it represents that which keeps us elevated, you know. It keeps us in status, in divine status. And then it also contains the word Ma and Ab, which means to see the heart. Khepera, the beetle, is often used to replace the heart, and with the Sahu or the mummy. So I'm constantly going through elevation to the heart. I tap into the heart. I see myself as a heart-based person. And another thing is that I stress the importance of having a light heart and allowing your heart to evolve and transform. Because if it stays rigid, if it does not evolve, what happens is that you become stuck. And if you stop growing, that's when you start withering away. So it says that Ra survives going through the Duat through its constant evolutions and transformations. And this is who we are. Our whole entire people, our ancestors, and everything else, we have to learn how to evolve and constantly adapt. And when we adapt, this is a form of intelligence. All intelligent life adapts to the current situation so it can evolve further.
Peace. That's powerful. Now tell the people, because we have people who never heard of these terms. The duat. I know what you're talking about. Who never heard of the term ka? What is the duat and what is the ka?
The Duat is the starry region. Some say is also connected to the astronomical aspect or the astrological aspect of the 12 divisions of heaven. So these 12 divisions of heaven are still utilized in today's astrology and astronomy, which Brother Ptah Asar is going to break off in a little bit. But also Duat, it contains the word dua, so it also means that which is praised. Duat, dua. So to do a dua means to elevate. So it's the elevated region. And where we all must go through in which we learn, go through our lessons, our 12 labors, kind of like on a soul level. So there's 12 divisions of the Duat. These 12 divisions have survived in your modern day astrology and so forth, but they talk about the 12 houses. Also, starry place. astral realm. We leave this physical body, and you do, because your body is a place that just at night you will travel through the story realms and you will meet various teachers, ancestors, and guides on the other side who will instruct you so that you'll come back with information. A lot of times, if you're laying in a bed and you notice that you're being downloaded information, your guides are constantly downloading you when you have reached the state to receive information. A lot of times, when you are laying down between sleep and waking state, it's good for you to have something next to you, especially if been doing a lot of prayer and meditation, because you will notice that you're getting downloads. These are the guides that you came into contact when you were traveling to the story region, and now they're feeding you information. Divine intelligence coming into form.
Dua Usiba.
Wow.
Your words are machiru. They are truth. They have truth, and they're excellently great. And I like to say to the Heti, to the Ramech in Medunetta means the people. To our Ramech, that before we begin any further, as the elder, I must gravitate us to our present moment in time and space, so that we may command the cosmic forces and allow ourselves to speak and to be embraced by the ancestors, the Netcherus, and the ancient ones by commanding the cosmic forces. This is what we're here to do. We're here to solarize you, to your solarization. And with this solarization, we shall connect. So everybody says, oh, I want to talk to the ancestors this and the ancestors that. Yo, this is not the 60s and the 70s. There's no time for playing games, no hotep pimping. This is no time for no food. I'm a military priest. Okay, I'm not here to entertain you. I'm not here to babysit you. Okay, I am here to address our divine birthright of immortality. Don't mind me. I'm 69. I'm almost 70 years old. I have no time to be playing games. I'm here to bring you your divine birthright, which is immortality. This is primordial temple discipline. Okay, and through primordial temple discipline, I must first, before I even say anything, I must perform my hesi, my saku, my affirmation, my cosmic libation. And at the same time, I'm going to connect you to the vibration of these cosmic forces, which we call Necheru. So let me just begin there first. Don't mind me, I'm an elder, and I have to, in a moment, you're going to have to tell you, we're going to give you a little preview where you're going to have to put on your oxygen mask.
Good,
Okay,
brother.
you're going to have to get on. You're going to have to get on your oxygen mask. We're getting ready to go cosmic. We're going to take you into the primordial ocean of nothingness. Okay? We're going to bring you into the primordial ocean. You're going to have to grow gills so that you can breathe this water. If I'm not doing my divine purpose right now, if I do not make that little tingle in the back of your brain where the two ears are in the back, that's your pineal gland. If that don't start secreting fluid and it doesn't tingle down into your chakras, down your back, they make goosebumps. Them are not goosebumps. That's your chakras going to be ignited. Okay. Okay. So I just want to make sure that we're going to handle our. Okay. So now let me begin.
Bringing it
I
right.
apologize.
Right, brother.
I have to bring us in right before I leave you over to Khepera Ptah. And after Khepera Ptah, I'm going to triangulate everything and give you everything that's properly. And so let me just begin. Hetepu, hetepu, dua, 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 Anezarak, Ramech, E.M. Hotep. Greetings in divine greatness, divine excellence to the first families of the New Age Order. My Nagas, my Shemsurus, my Nesubitis, my Hemets, my Sivas and Sibats, my Mutnatats, the immortal ones of Ma'at cherished. Phenomenon of precession, New Age Order, Great Golden Age of Ma'at Hapti Asar, and all citizens, descendants of the Nile Valley cultural, cosmic, collective consciousness, spirituality. O Ast, Ermut, Pat Nataru, Pa Nebu, the mother of the Netarus, the mistress of Pet, the maker of mankind, she who is mighty in Usa, Medu Nefer Heka'u, divine words of power, mother of all initiations, bless and protect us humble servants for Ankh, life, being, now present, for we seek the counsel of the ancient ones and practice daily the ancient Ma'atian ways and ancient Ma'atian truths. We strive evermore to become one with you in this world and in the existence to come. We ask that you bless us on this, the 83rd head of the day of the year after the Helical Rising. 200 377 Heru days remaining until Ubin Subtit, Cyrus rising, Upawat, Samatawi, him. The second Heru day of Hapi. It is the 15th Heru day of the third Abit month of Sobek. It is the 27th Heru day of the third Abit month of the first Ertra season of Shemu, Renpet year number 13, AFNK/ST, after the founding of New Kemet, Naga Kemet, Samatawi, phenomenal precession, New Age order, great golden age of Mahat Asar. We ask that you bless our families and friends and all those of us who gather together to worship in your most holy, sacred, and glorious ancient Tamarian name of Asar Mutpatnataru Panabu, for in the act of seeking you, there is much comfort. So as it is spoken, so let it be written, so let it be done. So shall it be, for now and forever forward. Ra Nabateshara, Panata Apupamaat, Onkwas Dejet, Onkuja Seneb, Uben Nefi Kia Panabu Haruma Ati, rising always in divine excellence with my art, every day, all day. Every day, all day. Atura, Protep. Thank you very much. Dua, Sibo.
Hit the pool, hit tap. Yes.
And now, for the second part of the Hesi is, no matter what we say to you, no matter what me and Captain Ptah says to you today, it's not going to do you any good. It's not going to be any good if you do not perform the golden rules of all Nagas, of all Shemsu rules, of all Nesubitis, of all Hemet. You must perform your livid. We don't have a diet because die is in the word. Okay, we have a livid. And there are only 5 golden rules. And if you begin your day with these guided 5 golden rules, I guarantee you that your frequency will become in tune, that you will begin to remember. Well, I'm only here as a servant of light and radiation. My duty is to make you remember. Everything I'm going to say to you, everything that Khepera is going to say to you, you already know. It's in your DNA. You just don't remember. So we're here to perform our first frequency, specifically Ra Nebateshara. And to perform this first frequency, first you must attune yourself to the vibration, to this frequency of Nur. Nur in Medunetta is energy. Nur is energy in Medunetta. And if you turn it, you got to turn it around. And Nur turns into Ren. Ren means name. So Ren, when the creator first came into existence, the creator pronounced their name. He didn't pronounce his name. He pronounced their name because our creator is masculine and feminine. It's high. Our creator is androgynous. Okay? The masculine and feminine energy was there from the beginning. So in order for you to feel this vibration, I first have to tell you the 5 golden rules, the 5 Nagaship. See, we have scholarship, but I'm not a scholar. I wouldn't call myself a scholar, because to call myself a scholar would to say that I'm a Greek and a Roman, because the first school of scholarship, for those of you who have any clue, is Plato. So why would I say I'm a scholar and I'm from Plato's school and Plato went to my school? It doesn't make sense. But you have to have scholarship because they stole all information, they disseminate it back into here, and they're feeding it out to you in an unholy manner. So without primordial temple discipline, you'll never be able to you're like a mad dog. A scholar is a mad dog running around chasing his tail until he's just foaming at the mouth, so he just falls deep. You never find out anything. But we're here to give you the Nagaship and the 5 golden rules of the Nagaship. Don't mind me, family. I'm giving you tough love here before. This is bad guy, good guy cop. This is bad guy, good cop. Okay.
We here for it. We here for the fire, brother. We here for the fire.
Okay. Yeah. So now the first golden rule, first Nagaship golden rule of the livid, which is the stomach is the key to salvation. It means that the food you eat should be as the air you breathe. In with the good, out with the bad. Plain and simple. That's not rule number 1, but that's just an analogy of what I'm getting ready to say to you, okay? Rule number 1 is eat only of the seed. Please write this down because it's going to be part of your teaching tonight. Please take your pen out, write it down. First golden rule, eat only of the seed. If it doesn't have a seed, you don't put it in your mouth. The only thing you put in your mouth that doesn't have a seed is water. And of course,
what about like Popeyes and oxtail?
Slow down, brother. Slow down. Right.
Okay.
I understand what you said, but don't worry, I got you covered. That's all dead issue. Everything you just said out your mouth is a dead issue. All
All
right.
right.
Remember, let me just skip by the 5 rules first before you interject.
All right. I
First
got
rule. Rule number one: eat only of the seed. If it doesn't have a seed, don't put it in your mouth. Only thing you put in your mouth that doesn't have a seed is water. And of course, to keep the humor, I'm gonna tell you your mother's nipple. But I don't want to see you on your mother's nipple right now, okay? But your mother's nipple when you're born. After that, only thing you eat, put in your mouth that doesn't have a seed is water. Rule number two: eat only of the seed. No, no. Rule number two: never eat and drink at the same time. Never mix your solids with your liquids. You drink your liquids first. You drink your water or your juice first. Then you eat. And when you eat, you wait 45 minutes before you drink that liquid again. Okay? Your condition at the liquid, as you're eating, you're drinking at the same time. Everybody's eating and drinking. You ever notice? Watch yourself. You tie one hand behind your back. You'll still find a way to break that arm up and grab that water because your condition is called mental, physical, spiritual, subjugated slavery. It's called injured humanity. And this causes when you eat and drink at the same time, it produces, you create the bloating effect. And these gases, these acid, this bloating effect will make all the men have big bellies, have all the men losing their hair. Okay, all the females will grow this around their neck. You know what I mean? That one back behind your head, and you change the tire irons. This becomes because of rule number two. Simple rule. If you look downtown and you feel yourself overweight or obesity, all you have to do is go to rule number two, which is never eat and drink at the same time. You don't mix your solids with your liquids because when you do, you create an acidy brew. And this acidy brew makes the bloating effect. Okay? The stomach, mouth, you eat, goes through your throat, mouth, through your throat, down into your stomach, into your digestive tract, into your stomach. And your stomach distributes the solids to your large intestine, and which goes out your stool. Then when after 45 minutes I wait 2 hours, but 45 minutes minimum for a novice, for a neophyte, using the Greek word neophyte or a novice, is 45 minutes. And you're going to feel it. Your food's going to go, ooh, boom. You're going to feel it. And that means that that food that you just ate went into your large intestine, which means now you can drink. And when you drink, it's going to go right down into your small intestine, which goes out to your urine. Okay, so everybody understands what's going on in mental, physical, spiritual, subjugated ways that we can embrace this scientifically, mathematically, with our cultural consequences and spirituality. Now, rule number three is eat as the table earth prepares the food. Number three, let me reiterate, eat as the table earth prepares the food, meaning from the vine, from the ground, or from the tree. It's only coming from three places. If you know another place it's coming from, I don't know, I'm talking about UNICEF dropping something out of a parachute, some plane or something. I'm talking about eat as the table earth prepares the food from the ground, from the vine, or from the tree. Okay? Now, and during this process, you don't want to overcook your food because you don't want to cook out all the nutritions. Okay? Now, rule number four is never eat to your fill, meaning that don't overeat, don't glut yourself, don't eat everything in the damn room, don't save something for somebody else. Okay? Do not overeat or glut yourself because you overwork the system and your system is going to shut down and you're going to have to go to sleep it off. Okay. Rule number five is to fast occasionally. For certain periods of the year, you must fast to cleanse, purify, and detox the body of all contaminations that you know, like my brother was just saying. What about Popeyes? What about this? What about that? And everything else. So for certain periods of the year, you must refrain from eating to cleanse, purify, and detox the bodies of all contamination. Which we do this during certain periods of the year, Ren Pet, which is the year, because we have the Ipetaru Shabitam Tuaru Bamat, the ancient Basari and Kemetic solar symbol lunar calendar, and then the neurological star timeline. And we perform these rituals and these sacred rites of fasting during the lunar cycles and the solar cycles and the seasonal cycles and the lunar cycles. There's so many ways you can do it, okay? But them are the five golden rules. Eat, never eat. Rule number one is eat only of the seed. Rule number two is never eat and drink at the same time. Rule number three is to Eat as the table earth prepares the food. Rule number 4 is to never overeat, no glut yourself. And rule number 5 is the um, um, fasting. A certain period of the year you must fast. So those are the 5 golden rules, and you just performed your Hesse. So right now I've been tuning you to our divine frequency of the first frequency specifically, and now we're back to the topic of discussions about today's topic of program, topic of discussion about today's program, which is the solarization, which we're going to go into deep. We want everyone to get your oxygen mask. I'm going to send it right back over to my great Siba Khepera Ptah. Dua, Siba.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes. Let's talk about this solarization and how we can activate. Great. Can I ask a question though before you get in, Kevin? I want to tap in. I know y'all about to go to the moon, man. Y'all about to
Good.
go beyond the moon.
Good.
Actually, y'all gonna go out the Milky Way, to Andromeda, past Andromeda. So I
Go
just
ahead. What
want
you
to,
do?
just want to strap my seatbelt in. Let the family strap their seatbelt in, because I already know where you guys are coming from.
Yes.
So as far as the diet, I've
Deliver
discovered,
it. Deliver
brother.
it. Deliver it. We don't have a diet. Die is in
Okay,
the word. Live it.
deliver
Say
it,
live it.
deliver it. All right,
Okay.
I'm actually writing that down. Okay, deliver it. Right, deliver it. That makes that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So let's deliver it. Okay, the living. Right. When you talk about the live it, a lot of people would rather, they will do anything. They'll buy crystals, they will buy candles, they will buy holy robes, they will even fast at times, right? But when you talk to a lot of people about changing and adjusting their diet, that's where the buck stops. They
Well,
feel
that's the
like
only
if
thing that's
you
going to
are
get you.
spiritual, let me complete. I'm gonna let you fly, brother. I promise you.
No, no, no. Go continue.
When they feel like, a lot of people feel like, as long as I am positive, as long as I am a mystic, as long as I am metaphysical, as long as I am doing the studies and even the meditations and lighting the candles and things like that, that I will be able to transmute the Popeyes. I'll be able to transmute the soda. I'll be able to transmute, the heavy meat and the red meat and things like that. What would you say to that, where you're bringing in dietary, some would say, not livitary, I'm sorry, restrictions, and what would you say to those brothers and sisters who have
They've
that
been
ideation?
they they've been mental incarcerated. There's no way that you can physically, mentally, and physically and spiritually ascertain your goal. Because listen to me, Siba, okay? Because we're gonna get into it. The word is called injured humanity. Please Google that word, people. If you have a wide, another wide, Google it, because that's what they are known to the people outside this chamber right here. Your name is Google Humanity. Google. Your name is Injured Humanity. You are a mental, physical, spiritual, subjugated slave. They've taken all our information that they comprised of 5,000 years. See, they have in history. We're not here to discuss his story or history. We're here to discuss our story. And our story spans millions and millions of years. Now, within the last 5,000 years, within we're going to talk about the phenomenon of precession, which is the 12 signs of the houses of the phenomenon of precession, which they call the zodiac, which is not going to use these European words. Okay, we're going to use our words, which are part of our story. But within this, they got us down from a 5 million-year-old story to a 5,000-year-old story, and inside this 5,000-year-old story, you are a slave. You are a mentally, physical, spiritual, subjugated slave. They have no story for you, because all you learn is his story. Okay, now within this historical study they have for you, they've already have it. You know what? That CIA, what's that detective movies? The CIS, whatever it is, and they got they have an affidavit on you that tells them when you gave birth, when you eat, when you shit, what do you do all day, what do you worship. They know everything about you, and they have taken this information and contaminated it to its fullest corruption. And they placed in this food, they have what they call a forever drug. It's a forever drug that doesn't even go out your system. Okay, they contaminated you. Okay, they from the moment you're born, they've stolen your birthday. You think that this day is your birthday. We're going to get into this later too. But I'm trying to triangulate this question that you're asking me so I can just respond to it on a collective level. Okay? They stole your birthday when you're born, brother. You think that today's your birthday. And the Gregorian calendar is a perpetual calendar, it's a lunar cycle calendar. And if January the 1st, 2023 is on a Monday, 2024 is on a Tuesday, 2025 is on a Wednesday, 2026 is on a Thursday. And then the next year, 2027 27 is on a Friday, and 28th is a leap year. So they jump a year. So the next year is going to be on a Saturday. So, so when your birthday comes around 7 years later, the star that was in the sky at your birth is no longer there. So they already stole your birthday. You haven't even got a clue about this yet. Okay, now you're a prisoner of war in the United States of America, and your affidavit for your birth certificate. You're a mental, physical, subjugated slave that's subject to stock market. Now they're feeding you, and they're feeding you through agricultural and on a lunar cycle calendar. So now this food, they're not feeding you of the seed. They're feeding you from the seed, but they're putting it in a plastic bag with the petroleum in it, and it's going to contaminate your whole body. Their whole purpose is to make sure that you do not live out your full expectancy of life.
Mm.
And they'll take poison and put it on a burger and put some hot sauce on it and say, this is it. And you're saying, no, man, I got to get it back. I got to get 5 of them. Okay. Advertisement ain't nothing nice. Okay. Okay. But I understand what you're saying. That's what my people are. Yeah, we want some chicken and watermelon and all that black nigger shit. I'm not into the story here, brother. I really don't have time for the story right now. Okay. I want to teach my people we are not niggers. We are nagas. Okay. All they did was take the vowel and they corrupted it, switched it around. And if a Naga is an immortal one of Ma'at, a divine monarch, a protector of the earth, the water, the sun, and all species on the planet, we are the protectors. We are the givers of immortality. So they took in etymology within the scholarship, they took out the vowels and turned it into a nigger. Now, a nigger is a derelict, which means that you're the lowest of your race. And if you Google nigger, there is no such people that ever existed called nigger. There's no niggers. There's no such thing. They took everything away by just changing the vowel in etymology through your scholarship. So if you're a scholar, you're supposed to be on top of this game. You're supposed to be, but you can't understand what's going on if you have no primordial temple discipline. This is what we're here to give you, primordial temple discipline. Okay, my Seba? So the people who know, listen, this information isn't for it's for everybody. But there's only 2 types of people on this planet. You're either a Shemsu Haru or a Shemsu Set. Shemsu means, and Medunetta means a follower of, a child of, a descendant of, and Medunetta. And then you're Haru. Haru was the son of As and Asar, okay? Or you're Shemsu Set, which is the sons of Set, which is the brother of Asar. And this we're all the way back to my beginning of our conversation was we're here to present ourselves and address the ancestors. So everybody says, oh, that's why in the Hesi, perform your Hesi, your Saku, your affirmation, your cosmic libation, you got to talk to people. You got to first you have to command the cosmic forces that allow you love, guidance, protection through the daily experience of ponderable matter. You have to address the nexus and tell me where the star scepter is. Because you can't tell me where the star scepter is. You're a pimp. You're a hustler. Okay? You're running Mac game. You're trying to make some money from the stupidity of my people. Okay? We're killing all this. All the great teachers out here, they've all disavowed themselves for me. Let me just make this shit so in case you want to turn the station off. I am not respected in the Kemetic community. Okay? Because Ptah will tell you that before the Romans and the Greeks, there were 9 days in every week. And time was kept by charting stars that were visible on our calendar, aware of the movement of the earth, stars, and moon. These ancient African indigenous primordial ancestors were cosmically attuned. So if they're going to tell me that the Kemetic calendar has 10 days in a week, so if it has 10 days in a week, that means there's 3 weeks in a month. That means there's 30 days in every month, which I say there is. I just put that in the Hesi. I said this is the 27th day of the 3rd Abid month of the 1st Ertra season of Shemu. So I recognize that a mathematical aspect, that variant in the calendar. But that's only a lunar cycle calendar. It's only good for growing crops. Okay? The other part of it is the women's menstrual cycle and the high tides and the low tides. Okay, the inundation of the Nile and the receding of the Nile. Okay, but our main aspect inside the calendar is the solar and sidereal forces. Okay, so now they tell me there's not 10 days in a week. So I told more of these calendars to the Ku Klux Klan than I did to any Kemetic teacher that is here today in America. They don't even buy this calendar because they say there's not. So there's obviously a very great problem here. So I'm here to present the mathematics. So I'm going. I've been teaching this for the last 50 years. Okay, I gave up on my teachers, all the Sebas and Sebats. I listen. That she that there's Shemsu set. Okay, and this is a time when time. You know, I have mothers crying, babies dying, and stars aligning. And right now, our cosmic time has come. It is here. It is now. The whole cosmic lineup. We just completed a 26,000 year cycle. Okay, we just completed a 26,000 year cycle. And we just came into the great golden age of us, Ma'ana Asar, which is aka Aquarius. So I just raw lined us back to, I didn't do anything. All I seen was the answers, what the ancestors told me, and the stars are lining up. It's right there in the spring equinox. You already see that no longer is the constellation of Pisces visible on the spring equinox when it rises in the morning, and it won't be visible again for another 26,000, 24,000 years, whether you're here or not. Now we're going to see the constellation of the elliptic plane, 23 and a half degrees from vertical, from horizontal. We look up, we're going to see the constellation of Aquarius in Gregorian terms, but we call it Ma'at Asar, and that's going to be there for 2,161 years. And the sun precesses. The sun's going to precess every 72 years. It precesses 1 degree. Precess with clock moves clockwise. Precess is counterclockwise, the phenomenal precession. But anyways, I want to get back to Khepera and let Khepera solarize them in a minute. But I just want you to ask me a question. I got to fill this whole thing up and triangulate it so everybody gets the proper perspective and understanding, so that they know that. So I just Ross said it. The calendar. I just Ross said it. They call it a calendar. We call it an Ipet Heru. Ipet and Mezu Neta means to measure. Heru means a day. That's for Ketia Men, that's for Dishi, Samaj Tata, so on and so forth. That's the Kemetic community people. Yeah, but we have the Shabit Emtwa Heru Pama. Shabit means the shadow. Shabit Emtwa. And Emtwa is the star. Twa is the star. And Shabit Emtwa Heru is the day. And Parma'at, and according to the doctrines of Ma'at. So we added the Shabit Emtwa because when you have the shadow, the only thing that creates a shadow is the radiance of the light. When the light hits anything that's matter, solid gas, it produces a shadow. And the shadow shows you that there's light and radiation, which now you have to begin to perceive and to relate to things to esoterical and esoterical primordial temple discipline, the light and radiation, heat and movement. So now you have to go beyond the door of European understanding and our teachers. But we're going to get into that in a minute. And I know you got to stop me. I just keep rambling. But we'll get back to that. Let's get back to Khepera Ptah, please, because he has something very important to put a foundation.
I don't even have any questions, brother. Thank you. I've learned a lot, man. The calendar and everything. I know we're gonna double back on that. But I definitely feel the fire. I definitely feel the raw force. I definitely feel the cheat. Light up this like button, man. Subscribe. Bringing this knowledge to the family. And we're gonna get into the calendar. What you're doing as far as your businesses and things like that as we get towards the end of the lecture. But definitely, Khepera, I know you know the brothers want to talk about solarization, so I'm gonna let you intro that and get into that and bring it to the family, in plain terms. As far as the Kemetic terms, just break them down so that, I like the way you did it, Ptah, breaking all the Kemetic terms down so we can understand it from a clear perspective, So, Khepera, the floor is yours, man. Floor is yours.
Imbu to our winter, all praises be to the divine. Praise be to Ra when he rises in the eastern region of heaven. According to the Perdim Heru, the book of coming forth by day from night, we give thanks and praise to all the Neteru and Necheru. We give thanks and praise to Atum who rose in from the noon, the one who spits out Shu and sneezed out, spits out Tefnu, sneezed out Shu, that gives birth to Gab, Nut, Asar, Ast, Uncle Set, Heteru Heteru, Heru the one who gives birth to Kreptanu, Hapi, Amset, or Mesta, and Gamutep. We give thanks and praise to all the Netaru, that surrounds us, that's within us, that's above us. We give thanks and praise to all the Netaru. It is said that when you give thanks and praise to the universe responds in accordance. It's good to wake up in the morning and give thanks and praise based on all that you have. Because when you show gratitude, you're giving yourself permission to not only keep what you have, but to receive more. So the ancestors understood that the sun, the Shepsu, the ancient ones, understood that the sun was the Lord of our solar system as well as intelligence that blessed this planet with life. We call Ra the prince, Ankh Uchaseneb, meaning life, strength, and vitality. The sun has been venerated as Ra to the Kamau, Lisa of the Fan, Anyanwu of the Igbos, Orun Alofi to the Yorubas, and with a plethora of stories surrounding it in an anthropomorphic man-like being who often goes through a virgin birth as well as a death and resurrection. And this remains persistent throughout the history stemming from the ancient world. We have not only humanized the sun, we have also deified the sun, but at the same time, each and every one of us are the rays of the sun. That's why we are called the Remech, because we are the teardrops of Ra, the Rem. Why would the ancient ones create a story like such and throughout the ancient world? It is because the sun represents the ultimate influence in the world and powers of life. In ancient Kemet, the spirit of the sun, referred to as Ankutra Seneb, is reflected in the life and the image of the one called the Nesut, that you now erroneously call the Pharaoh, which is another way of saying the great house, or per Heru, the Heru. So the sun sustains the world with photonic particles in which we ourselves absorb as food. The elder was talking about the livid earlier. So it's good to understand why part of our solarization is what we put into our body. The ancestors did do constant rituals of cleansing and purification, and you can find this in the literature of the ones named like Plutarch and even Herodotus, Europeans and Greeks that even bared witness to the greatness of the ancestors and how they lived. And also looking at how they may have imitated and mimicked nature. Notice we dealing with the Medu Neter. The Medu Neter is the writings of the divine. When you live in accordance with nature, this means that you have become one with the universe, which is the one song, the one phrase, and dealing with harmonics and music. So when you're dealing with music today, and you take it back to the one who studied in Kemet for 22 years, Pythagoras, and how we dealt with music, all of that deals with how we interact with the world and the universe around us, because sound helps to shape creation. So as time goes on, we're going to talk more about how you can utilize sound and tap into sound frequencies to shape your personality, your persona, meaning through sound or the mask in which we wear. So the sun that rises matter in its rarefied state is also essential to raise us into the higher level of consciousness. But you see, there's not only the sun that you see outside of you, there's also your internal sun. And keep in mind, in order for life to be maintained, there has to be heat, there has to be fire, and where there is movement, there is heat. So whenever you're breathing, you're keeping the fire within you of Ra burning and activated. Hence, you have within you a hidden flame, a hidden fire. Now, there's the astrological aspect of Ra being in Aries, or the sun being in Aries. There's also Amun Ra, as far as you being able to take in the breath and keep your internal fire breathing. So if everyone can just join me and sit still and breathe, breathing in. You're breathing, you're causing your stomach to come out, okay, to your lower diaphragm, holding it, and then you breathe out. Whenever you do your breathing exercises in the morning, it's good for you to breathe in, count to 4, hold it, count to 4, breathe out, count to 4, hold it again, count to 4. And what this will do is that this will get you in what I call a trance state, where you can go beyond your conscious mind. There's also sound vibrations that you can tap into. The first one that I would like to talk about is Ankh. Now, why is this important? When you can change the frequency in which you're on, then that means that you're attuned to your universe, or you're in tune to different stations. If you are constantly chanting Om, Om, and just feel it resonate throughout your body. Om, bring your hands together, put it in front of your heart. Om, breathing in. What you're doing is that you're expanding your auric field. The more you do it, the longer you do it, the deeper the trance state. And when you do it silently and you're doing it along with the breath, you will get into a profound trance state. And what it is, you want to picture the things in which you want to see manifest into your life. And the things in which you um, merge with your life force, the thoughts that you merge into your life force, your so-called subconscious is the things that's going to manifest. You also want to add a feeling to that. So you want to see yourself having the things, holding the things. Like if you want money, you want to see yourself holding money so that it appears. You see what I mean? The universe is mental. The all is mind, the universe is mental. The problem is that we've been taught not to believe, or should I say to believe, to be and leave, as opposed to know. So you have your first eye. You have that aspect of you that is all knowing, you see. But your personality, your person is that which limits you because you think that you are this physical body. We think that we are these minds that was given to us by the colonizer. The thing about it is that we are not these minds. And if you can eradicate the mental prison in which they have put upon us, then we'll be able to elevate and move outside of it. The thing about it is that there's a Yoruba saying, and that is, if you can conquer the enemy within, then you no longer have anything to fear from the enemy without. And the thing about it is that they're constantly showing you things on TV and in the movies to scare you away from who you actually are, or to get you to think that it's make believe. The only thing that's make believe is that the fact that they made you believe that you're other than who you are. They made you believe because they taught you at a very young age to believe in something outside of yourself. They taught you to believe and indirectly worship yourself by praising a mythology in which they had you going to every Sunday, teaching you from a very young age that you are a sinner and that somehow you are guilty for something that your ancestor did thousands and thousands of years ago. But the thing about it, even the Catholic Pope said that that's a mythology. It's not something that was ever meant to be taken literal in the first place. So whether or not the average person knows is the sun whose light pervades the heavens has major effects on our minds and bodies, and our sun is composed of mostly plasma. So therefore, states of matter, which are solids, liquids, gas, and plasma. Gas and plasma representing the rarefied state of matter, and it is Ra, who is the embodiment of the sun that activates the vitamin D. And it serves as well to meditate on the rays of the sun. So it's good for you to sit into the sun or sit in the sun's rays and meditate. I call that meta marinate. You see, so this is basics when it comes to solarization. I call solarization the pathway to ascension, because when you're solarized, that means you are taking in the sun's rays, and there's different ways to take in the sun's rays. One of those is through eating a solarized diet, livid. See, I almost said that D word. So the food that grows in the ground, it grounds you. The food that grows on the trees is etheric. So when you eat the fruit, eat of the fruit, that represents the higher levels of energy that's in the heavenly realms. And then you have that aspect of you that grounds you when you're eating things that come out of the soil, out of the earth, out of the ground. So touching the earth, connecting with the earth, and being one with the universe. It's beautiful to visualize and meditate and that sort of thing. But it's good for you also to take your shoes off and walk in the sands on the beach and take in that electrical energy so they can rise up your feet and into your body and charge you up. One of the issues is that we have been disconnected. We walk on these concrete sidewalks, and there's all kind of wiring and all kinds of machinery within the streets in which we live in these big cities. It's good for you to go out and get out of the big cities and go where there's negative ions, because all the machinery around you is literally sucking up the negative ions. You don't need positive ions, you need negative ions. And you'll find this by running streams, forests, mountains, the same places that they'll say in West African traditions where you will find the Orishas, because the Orishas are today's Neteru. So the Orishas are to the Yoruba people in West Africa, but the Neteru is to the Kemetians. It's still the same science that still exists. The problem is that people have been taught to forget, you see. So the whole thing about being solarized is you becoming like Ra, and also remembering that it's bringing the pieces of yourself that's been scattered back together into oneness, as opposed to being all these other things that the European or the Western education system has taught you how to scatter and separate things. They never taught you how to bring things together. In fact, you want to see something that's scattered. Look at a source of psychology. Look at the course of psychology. There's so many different disciplines of psychology, but the mind, right? Understanding psychology is basically understanding the psyche, understanding the soul. You know, they complicate things because they don't believe that there's any soul, that you don't have a soul. They don't believe that you have an immortal aspect of you that's everlasting. They don't believe that there's something that survives this physical body and goes beyond it. That's why they teach you the way they teach you. And they don't want you to believe that either, you see. So what is a psychologist? A psychologist is a knower of the soul. What is a psychiatrist? A doctor of the soul. But do they doctor your soul? Do they know the soul? No. They tell you it's a bunch of chemicals, and all the right chemicals in the beginning of time accidentally got together, and boom, here you are. They don't understand cosmic intelligence. They don't understand that there's an intention behind this. They don't understand how the universe works. And if they do, they sure in the hell don't want you to know how the universe works. And that's why they got you versing yourself. That's why instead of us understanding what is universal, they got you universe all. They trying to say you verse all things. That's them. You don't verse all things, you're one with all things. But universe also means one turn or turn into one, which is Khepera, coming into being. Everything in your universe is spinning. Everything, every atom is spinning. Even though every atom is actually separate from each other, they appear to be solid, but all the way down to the quantum realm, it's not as solid as it appears yet. Amazingly, you are held together with 14,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. So therefore, when you tap into that solarized aspect of you, you're tapping and activating your superpowers. You're tapping into your divine intuition, being able to see things before they even happen. People who are very attuned can see things or the outcome of an event, and even warn people so that can change the outcome of an event so it doesn't happen in that certain way. So there are variations of timelines and realities. We can become the masters of that, and we can change and transform ourselves to the point that we're not being carried away with karma, but we are actually engineering the positive outcomes of the future in which we wish to see. So it is Ra, the spirit of the sun, that travels to Dawat, which is the universe and the story realm, and survives by going through transformations, hence Khepera, hence going through the Dawat, being Khepera in the morning, Ra at midday, Atum in the evening, and then at midnight, Seker. So we're dealing with these four aspects and four stages of being. We're dealing with being able to tap into the electromagnetic field, the strong force, the weak force, and the gravity, and being able to literally shift our environment based on how we think and how we feel. Because even in quantum physics, they're beginning to determine, when they combine quantum physics with psychology, they're beginning to determine the possibility that you are having an effect on the very things that you're observing. However, if your mind is messed up because you've been miseducated and indoctrinated, you're going to cause negativity around you, and you're going to manifest all the bullshit in which you've learned to take in and process, or should I say incorrectly process. When you have information that is negative and self-destructive and you're going through traumatic events, what happens is that you create a story around that at the time when you're really young. And then you start stacking programs on top of programs on top of programs, memories on top of memories, and it's all beginning to conceal the original problem. So you have this virus in the back of your mind, and if it's not tended to correctly, what happens is that it eventually shuts down the program. So now we have so many people living in fear. We got couples that don't trust each other anymore. You're hearing about male and female having a gender war. You're hearing about wars in the East and wars in the West, and you're hearing about everything that can keep you in fear, not to trust anybody, not even to trust yourself. And therefore, you don't trust the universe, and therefore, you don't trust your abilities to do anything, because everything around you represents a reflection of that which is within you, how you feel and how you think, and the people that you find around you are a reflection of your outlook of the world. I'll tap. Button.
Dua receiver. Para tapu pamaro kwaste jet onku jas never. Ubina PK panda buru mati. Ekia. That was Machiru. True voice. Is the Seba still here? Black.
I'm still here.
Okay.
I'm still here. I'm letting you guys play tennis, man. I'm watching, the male Venus and Serena, man. Look, look. I don't even got. Go ahead, brother Ptah. I'm just gonna let you go into it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
How is my
I'm
audio?
not even gonna ask questions. I'm gonna let y'all rock, man. This is y'all
How's my
show.
audio? Is my audio okay? I lost my earplug. I can't. Can you
No,
hear
we
me?
can hear you
Okay.
clear. We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. So where we're gonna go from now is that we're going to balance what the brother Seba, my great Seba, just said in accordance to the doctrines of Ma'at. We're gonna break this down. We're gonna triangulate it, and what we have to understand is this is primordial temple discipline. So now let us begin. Let us find out that we can answer the four divine questions of our divine cultural spirituality. And the Greeks say that, who am I? Where do I come from? Why am I here? And where am I going? These are the questions we are answering for you tonight. Now, there is an order that applies to all things. This order is called the order of existence. It was issued by the creator of all things, Ra, Neb-Er, Teshur, Ra. It was issued by the Lord of others to ensure, to ensure the perpetual continuous evolutions of all things. So when I speak to you today of the New Age Order, the Great Golden Age of Ma'at Asar, and the New Age Order Star Gospel of the self-creation of Ra Nebuchadnezzar, it is of this order that I speak. So we want to talk about now. We're talking about the ancestors. So we're gonna solarize you, and then we're gonna send you cosmic, and then we're gonna tether you together. But first, we're on the terrestrial plane within the atomic domain, and we're dealing with the helium atom. We're dealing with Ra, and Ra falls under the Medunetta words of Khepera. Khepera in Medunetta means he or she who evolves, or the evolver of evolutions in Medunetta. So my brother Seba was just telling you about the four primordial field forces of science. So we're going to break this down scientifically, mathematically, with our cultural, cosmic, collective, conscious spirituality, because we have to triangulate. Because if we don't triangulate it, that means we're just Greeks and Romans. There is no type of Ma'atian harmony within us. So in order to triangulate, when we triangulate, because we must have absolute accountability and style validation, because definitive answers require definitive explanation, style validation, and absolute accountability. So this is what we're here to do. We have to acquire the ability to experience the phenomenon of being. This is what the creator. So in the pyramid text, let's say, we'll start off with our cultural spirituality. In the Mastaba text, then the pyramid text, then the Kemenu, then the Shabaka stone. These are all the cosmological texts. Okay, we're just going through the great ages. Then we get into the Heliopolis text, and we get into the Theban text, which is according to the Egyptologies, and so they call it the 18th dynasty. Okay, but anyways, within the first text, all you have to do for your reference, his name, the creator's name, they call it Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar means Lord, Tesher means holy, and means great. So he was the great holy Lord of all. Okay, that's what that breaks down. So to know the creator's name is to have the power. I'm gonna show you why. So you don't say anybody tells you they know the name of the God or know the creator is a phony. Because the creator spoke their name as to come into existence. So if you had his name, you would have the power. Okay, so let's just get right to this. So now let me just break down the Medunetta text. The creator says, this is you can get this through E.A. Wallace Budge, you can go online and so on and so, but I'm gonna break it down into the New Age Order, the Great Golden Age of Ma'at Asar. The text goes, I am he, she, who existed in the primordial ocean of nothingness, eons and eons of evolutions ago, before the beginnings of time. When I thought that the moment had come, I fashioned my mouth and I uttered my name as a word of power. With this power that was my birthright, I fashioned myself in forms from out of the primeval ocean of nothingness. I was alone at this time. There were none others with me then. I am the beginnings of time, which began when I took form and commanded the power. Now it came to pass that I found no place upon which I could stand. So I straightway brought forth from my own mind and thoughts the primeval mound from out of the primeval ocean of nothingness. Being that I was alone at this time, it pleased me to make others. So I went from being Necha 1 to Necha 3. I made these beings in the manner in which all things are made. I, Ra, Nebuchadnezzar, Ra, the he, the she, the mother and father of all existence. I embrace my shadow, I grasp my member, and I love myself. I issued forth the Netcher shoe, and I multiplied his forms millions and millions of times. I gathered a portion of the remains, and I swallowed them, and I spat forth Tefnut. They are my heart and soul, twins born of the same birth. Where you find the one, you find the three, for the three is of the one is of the three. Shu and Tefnut had union and gave birth to the Netcher Nut and Seb. And in similar manner, I multiplied their forms millions and millions of times. Seb and Nut had union and gave birth to the earth Neterus, the Mesu Neteru Twa, the earth Neterus. Their names are Heru they are five. Heru Asar, Sut, As, and Nebhet. Asar and As gave birth to Heru, and Heru and Het gave birth to the Shemsu Herus. And when all this was done in all manifestations of things that came into being, I placed each and every black hole, constellation, star, and planet where they are now found and together. Their meanings give movements to my works. And their movement is no drain on my powers. It is I, Ra Nebuchadnezzar, who issue forth the order of existence. Now, this is your cultural cosmic collective conscious spirituality made in the Medunetta text, and we're going to have to fall back on each time because now we're going to go into the scientific and into the mathematical equation, and they all three have to fit. And if they don't, three of them don't fit, then I'm just running game on you. Okay, I'm going to show you, reduce to you the information that our ancestors left on the wall, and then applicate the information scientifically and mathematically as we go forward so that we can find truth and balance to the scale. Okay, so now the four primordial field forces are uh, electromagnetism, the strong force, gravity, and the weak force. Okay, these are for scientific. If you write it down on your paper, you got your cultural spirituality, you got your scientific, okay, and then your mathematics. Okay, you're triangulating. Your mathematics is there are four attributes of manifestation of Ra Nebuchadnezzar. So before Ra Nebuchadnezzar could become Nebuchadnezzar, he had to acquire, or he, she, don't get me wrong, I'm from the 70s and the 60s, so I might say he, but I really mean he, she, okay? If I do it, correct me now, okay? But I mean he. Anytime I say the creator, I'm talking the he and the she, because the masculine and feminine must be there from the beginning to the end, because the end is the beginning, the beginning is the end. So anyway, so the four attributes of manifestation of Radha Teshra is first, she had to become Temu. The four attributes are Temu, Ptah, Amen, and Khepera. Okay, write that down. Temu, Ptah, Amen, and Khepera are the four attributes of manifestation of Ra Nebuchadnezzar Ra. This is the mathematical equation. So if Temu means in Medunetta, write this down. Temu means to think. Temu means thought. Temu means to plan. It's equated to mentalism, so we equate that to electromagnetism. Then the creator had to become Ptah. Ptah is the strong force. Ptah in Medunetta means the opener, he or she who opens. Ptah in Medunetta means the door to open, he or she who opens. Okay. Then the third attribute of manifestation is Amen. Amen in Medunetta means the hidden one, he or she who is hidden. It equates to gravity. And Amen is depicted through the primordial mound because we're gonna go right through this now, okay? And that's the primordial mound because the Creator said in the text. Remember, the Creator said, "Now it came to pass that I found no place upon which I could stand." What he's doing, he's describing to you a formula, a fashion of coming into being, in which he had to perform himself in order to become a form, to come into being. And the last attribute of manifestation of Radha Tesha is Khepera. Khepera in Medunetta means the evolver of evolutions, he or she who evolves, which represents scientifically the expanding universe. Khepera, Amen, represents the primordial mound, and then Ptah is the door, and Temu means to think, to plan, electromagnetism. So now, this is what we're here to do, to acquire. We're here to give you back your divine birth of immortality by acquiring the ability to experience the phenomenon of being. Write this down. First, you must release yourself. Then you must seek out yourself. Overcome the sensation of weightlessness. Embrace Ma'at within yourself. Then you will desire to acquire the ability to experience the phenomenon of being. This is the primordial text now. All we're going to do as we begin to acquire this ability to experience the phenomenon of being, we're just going to duplicate a process that was created, that was done by our creator. So you can't get no closer to this. This is the path to immortality. So it's like the word Ankh. Some people think Ankh means life. Ankh does not just mean life, because so we'll break this down. I don't want to go into the Ankh yet, but let's just break it down. So we're still at the light. Now let's go into the light. What we have to understand time. What solarization and Khepera Ptah is telling you is about how to equate and to manifest time. Some people say time don't exist, time don't exist. This is flat Earth. There's no such thing as time. There's so much foolishness going on out there. Okay, well let's just break this down. The primordial temple discipline. Time is the movement or measurement of the light through the void of deep dark code space from one point or distance to another. Speed 198,000 miles per second. Light is the absence of darkness. Darkness is the absence of light. Light is the giver of life, Ankh, to all things upon the terrestrial plane within the atomic domain. Ankh life is the generic expression of the light, which is only found in three forms exclusively: solids, liquids, and gases. Matter, the elements, nature. However, the light is not the origins of existence in the creation development of the universe. The light has a mirrored reflection, which is radiation. Okay, we call this the cosmic egg, Radha Teshara, or and so on and so forth. Okay, so now we're moving forward here. So what we have to do now, we have to break this down so that we have to understand it scientifically. So we know that I am he, she who exists in the primordial ocean of nothingness. Inside the primordial ocean of nothingness is called Nu, N-U. Nu is the primordial ocean. Millions and millions of eons and eons, not millions and millions, but eons and eons of evolutions ago before the beginnings of time. So this is before time. This is called, so there's three motions that you have to understand through solarization. There is the three motions of the earth. What are the three motions of the earth? The earth rotates on its axis. 24 hours and 35 minutes is the original time of the times in the cycle of the day. Okay, and that's 360 days in a year on the second motion. But we're going to use motion number one as today. You know it as 24 hours in every day. That means motion number two, the movement around the sun, is 365 and a quarter days. That's why it's a solar silver lunar calendar. It's a 3-in-1 calendar, and I superimpose the Gregorian calendar right on top of it to make it a practical calendar. Because my black people don't even want to know about 9 days a week. All I want to know about is payday. What day is payday, Ptah? You know, I mean, I got 7 days a week. Can you tell me what day I'm going to get paid? Okay, but we're trying to go beyond this. This is in here. I have your paydays in here. Okay, it's a 3-in-1. It has the Gregorian time, it has the lunar time, it has the sidereal time, and it has the solar time. And it's on the Gregorian calendar superimposed on top of it. Okay, 9 days in a week. So now there's three motions to the earth. It rotates on its axis. It revolves around the sun is number two. And then the earth is tilted 23 and a half degrees from vertical, which makes the earth wobble. And one complete wobble is 26,000 years. And we call this wobble the phenomenon of precession, or the precession of equinox. They call it the precession of equinox, but we call it the phenomenon of precession. So you know this in school. But they don't tell you no more than that, because now once you mention the phenomenon of precession, it's no longer his story. Now it becomes our story. Okay, this is the movement that we move from history to our story. Okay, and then there's the fourth, and then there's 4 dimensions of time. What are the 4 dimensions of time? There is daily time, yearly time, great year time. Daily time is the 24 hours in one daily cycle. The yearly time is the 360 days it takes the earth to move around the sun. And then there's great year time, which is the 26,000 years it takes the sun to go through each and every sign of the zodiac, which breaking into 12 houses or 12 signs, which is 2,160 years in each sign. So 2 times 12 is 24, and 100 is 25. And so many odd years, it comes out to 26,000 years. Okay, but the fourth dimension of time we call the Zeptepi. This is the first time. This is the time before time, because time, as we told you, is the light moving through the void of deep dark cold space from one point to another. So that's atomic energy. What Kepler Ptah was telling you at the end of his dissertation, a narrative was about the the um the origins of the Zeptepi is about subatomic energy. So how can I prove about subatomic energy through all the daily teachings about primordial temple discipline? Is that if the sun shines its light on you, radiates its light on you, it's going to cast a shadow. So ask yourself, what is the shadow? Everybody sees the shadow every day. It follows you around every day. Can you tell me what it is? No, you can't tell me what it is. But the shadow only produces itself from the light. So if the light has a mirrored reflection, that reflection is radiation. So light and radiation, heat and movement. This is the concept of self-creation. We're here to explain to you our story, which is the story of self-creation. And this story also, let me just bring this up, is in my book, The Cosmic Egg, aka The Primeval Germ, a journey of 59 plus 21 zeros. Online now at any major bookstore, you can get this book. It's called The Cosmic Egg, aka The Primeval Germ, a journey of 59 plus 21 zeros. And in this book explains origins of existence, the creation, development of the universe as it was known through our primordial ancestors. So what you see there is the cosmic egg right there on the cover. This cosmic egg is a picture that was taken by the Hubble telescope and the COBE, Cosmic Observatory Background Explorer. They call it Kobe, not Kobe the basketball player. We're talking about Kobe the satellite, okay? And they took a picture into the deepest part of deep dark cold space, and they found this egg-shaped anomaly. And this egg-shaped anomaly, and because of its red and blue heat signature, they know it to be the molecular appearance from the source of all creation, of the origins of subatomic space. This goes beyond the Big Bang. So now they have a new satellite up there called Webster Chandler or something. And now they're taking pictures of the universe, and they're taking pictures of a dark body radiation or galaxy or black hole. These are three words that are used in scientific terms to describe atomic energy and the expanding universe through galaxies and black holes of dark body radiation. And they took one of the furthest, deepest pictures of one of these galaxies, and its red heat signature indicates a mathematical equation that goes to 26 billion years. Now, the Big Bang, so-called Big Bang, which is the most fraudulent information they could give you, the Big Bang says that the universe is 13.6 billion years old. But the heat signature from this galaxy or this black hole, dark body radiation, mathematically equates to double that of 26.9 billion years, which means that the whole story of the Big Bang is not true. So they're telling us now Einstein's equation of E equals mc squared is no longer relevant. They're telling us because of astrophysics and quantum mechanics and the string of the strand. And now they tell us the Big Bang. So that because they're using our story, but they're not giving you the whole information. Now, the whole information is broken down in the book. And as you can see through the beginning of our dissertation just now, the narrative of solarization, we broke it down through the Kemenu, the Shabaka stone, and so on and so forth. Like, let's just say, in the Theban text, is the creation that Amen Ra. So when the Kemetic community, first of all, a bunch of brothers who came out of Howard, Broward, so on, University, looking for the spirituality, and they went to 18th dynasty Kemet, and they fell in love with Amen Ra. Amen Ra is just a star date. Okay, Amen Ra is not the creator. Amen is the third attribute of manifestation of Ra Teshra, and he is one of the self-created one. But Amen Ra is only a star date. The avenue of sphinxes in the temple of Luxor or Karnak have an avenue of sphinxes that's orientated to the spring equinox. And when the constellation of Aries came down that alignment, which is really Amen, and the sun came with that constellation, Amen became Amen Ra. Okay, all right. Now, before that was Taurus, and before that, this is where the Shabaka stone comes in, because in the Shabaka stone, Ptah is the supreme being. We know Ptah cannot be the supreme being because the four attributes of manifestation tells us that it's Temu, Ptah, Amen, and Khepera. And when the creator took form, he became Ra Never Teshra. He had acquired all four of these attributes. So if Ptah was depicted as the Apis bull and the temple of Menepha, the white wall, Menepha, where they found the Shabaka stone was at the temple of Menepha. And inside, and the temple of Menepha was orientated to the spring equinox of Taurus in Greek, but which was orientated to the spring equinox of Ptah. Okay, so all these are star dates. Once you understand time and you understand our concept and our story of astrology and astronomy, you begin to put it all together through astrology and astronomy. Then you put your mathematics together, you put your sacred science together, you put your cultural, cosmic, collective, conscious, spirituality together. Now you're triangulating. This is primordial temple discipline. This way, no one can challenge you. Nobody can engage you because they don't want to go cosmic. Nobody wants to go cosmic unless you're a Shem Suru. Khepera is a Shem Suru. We're here to help you, assist you to acquire the ability to experience the phenomenon of being. Now, I know I'm moving kind of quick, but there's two of us on the show, and Kevin can run for 45 minutes. So I got to run my 45 minutes because I got to send it back to him. He's going to run 45. I'm going to close it out. Then the brother's going to give us Q&A. Okay, so we're moving here for you people. Well, where can you want you to make sure you go to Black? We'll make sure you go to Black, Rob Blackstorm. At Cash, there's a Cash app over there. Make sure you subscribe. We make sure you do everything he asks you to do. We want you to send him some cash and let me continue. Because Khepera, can I continue for a couple more minutes, Khepera? Because I want to give him the scientific download.
Like
how we doing there, Rob Blackstorm?
We're doing good. We're doing good. We got an hour 20, so we got.
Can you hear me? Okay, am I doing all right? Because I lost my speaker.
Yeah, I can hear you well. Can you hear me?
All right.
Yeah.
So we broke down the collective consciousness of.
Yeah, looks
I'm
like
sorry.
Khepera,
Go ahead. You want to say something?
No, I just wanted to say, it looks like Khepera is he's having difficulty right now.
Right,
so
right. Okay, so I can continue.
Yeah, go ahead, keep dropping.
Okay, let me continue.
I'm here.
So
I'm gonna give you the solo screen, so I'm still gonna be here though.
Okay, beautiful. Ekir Meduneta means excellent. Nephir means divine. So if I say Ekir, Nephir, that means Ekir means excellent. Nephir means divine. So I just said to him, Ekir, Nephir. Let me run with it. Okay, so now remember, our foundation is based upon the Mastaba text, the pyramid text, the Kemenu, the Shabaka stone, the Heliopolis text, the book of knowing the overthrowing of the evolutions of Ra, knowing the evolution of Ra and overthrowing of Pepi, and what's in the Turin text, and we want to make sure we do the Theban text, okay? Now, all this is your cultural, cosmic, conscious spirituality. So the Creator said, I am He, she, who existed in the primeval ocean of nothingness, eons and eons of evolutions ago, before the beginnings of time. When I thought that the moment had come, I fashioned my mouth and uttered my name as a word of power. So he's explaining to you the whole thing in Medunetta, but you're not catching it yet, because when he says, when I thought, the moment had come. When he tells you a thought, you know he's becoming Temu, because Temu in Medunetta means to think. Temu means thought. Temu means to plan. Okay? So he's becoming Temu, so he's gathering mentalism within the 7 principles in the Kabbalion. The all is mental, the universe is mental, the all is all, so on and so forth. Okay, that's the Greek interpretation of the Hermes Trismegistus, but it's all part of this whole thing that I'm telling you right now. So now, the Creator is all in the Medunetta text. So he doesn't have the share thing. We're gonna have the share button going next week or the next time that we come on, so that I can bring up these PowerPoints, these illustrations, these chromatics to give you a visualization of what I'm saying to you. But Brother Ra, Brother Blackstorm will have that together for us.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna let Khepera, since he's back on, I'm gonna let him get his time. And we'll keep playing.
Okay,
tennis.
yes, he's back. Khepera. Okay, so I just gave you my little minutes. And I'll be back later. We're gonna make sure that Khepera Ptah gets you to the next level here. Me and him on our own show. Me and him we both need 5 hours apiece ourselves, but you're getting blessed today. So make sure you hit his, make sure you hit the Seba's Cash app and everything, and share and like. Khepera Ptah, dua.
All right. It's good to be back. Seemed like we had a few technical difficulties, but all in Ptah's time. So it said that Ra, the spirit of our sun, travels the Dawat, the universe, and survives by going through many transformations. Now, these are the teachings that speak of the planetary shift as it's one of the main events, you know, in dealing with the 26,000 years precessional cycle. Now, we have the lunar, the solar, and planetary shifts happening all the time. Our Earth with us is constantly being bombarded with solar particles that go right through us, affecting us, and even changing us. So the ancients knew about this all-pervading force, in which today we call the electromagnetic field. And like the sun, the human body also generates heat. The human body is a conductor of Ra's energy. The life force is indeed Ra and functions as the internal solar sexual energy that keeps us alive and creative. So we're all emanations of the life-giving energies of the divine of Ra, and this would include the metabolic fire of life. Ra is the solar spirit that pervades all living things in our world. Our nervous system conducts electricity, and it's through the nervous system when it picks up messages from the universe. So our species receive constant downloads from the environment and other aspects of the universe. And this is why it's good to be in tune with the universe. It is said that Ra, in his form of Temu, creates himself in a multitude of forms, and after making Ma'at as the foundation, it is the wisdom teachings of Ra that constantly helps us to learn how to tap into that solar energy. And it tells us, gives us instructions on what to do. Now, one of the things in ancient Kemet they showed on the walls and the temple walls is they were pouring out libations to the ancestors or to the forces. But you can also pour out an internal libation. It's good for you to take in the water so that you can cleanse and purify yourself, like what the elder was saying. When you're constantly going through cleansing and through purifications, the messages that you receive will be that much more clear. So therefore, a lot of the science that you're hearing today, you'll start getting downloads that will reflect that science. Now, Ra is constantly fighting the dark serpent Apep, who comes to devour the sun. And Apep is a manifestation of our personal lives when too many spiritual laws are broken. So Apep is defeated by living the law and the cultivation of the life force energy. So we have to rematch humans or collectively Temua Atun in that sense. So we are the vessels of the mind. We are the vessels of universal mind as well as cosmic radiation and the force of Ra. So if you tap into that, one of the best ways to do that is to breathe. This pose right here that we did earlier, when you get up in the morning, it's good for you to do that pose. It's universal in a lot of Eastern teachings, but what you're seeing here is the unification of left brain and right brain and the five elements, earth, wind, fire, water, and ether. And also, each of these elements connect with your internal organs. When you're able to sit still for a minute, you're going to discover that this pose right here, it brings you into a peace of mind. And what you do is that's when you're doing your breathing meditations and so forth. Let's say you want to have and take on the energies of Ra. What's interesting, the sound vibration for Ra has the same power in the Kemetic legacy, is also found in the Indian tradition, where Ra is the sound of the solar plexus, the solar plexus. So you say Ram, 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 Ram. You're activating that aspect of you, which is the solar plexus, the will faculty. If you want to attract, let's say you want to attract people of the opposite gender because you're trying to get a relationship, this sound vibration is linked to the Het Haru energy, where you say clean or clean, 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 clean. We're talking about the unification of the masculine and feminine principle. Well, if your relationships are screwed up like those rascals want them to be, it's hard for you to build anything. So in order for you to have that harmony and be able to get with the right partner who can help you build a family and so forth, you have to also make the unity within yourself as a sacred masculine and feminine principle. So when you're chanting clean, 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 that harmonizes that masculine and feminine energy. And also you'll find yourself attracting a partner after a while. However, you also need to be discreet about the partners that you bring into your life and the people that come into your life, because everybody comes with a lesson, you see. So you have to learn how to make the balance within that. If you want to develop the ability to rise above in any corporate situation, or you want to have influence, what you do is you chant Harim. This is Haru's Hekau. You say Harim, 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 Harim. You can wear colors like red. You can also put candles, red candles around you and so forth. Now, we talked about the candles, but you want to do something physical. You see what I mean? And when you wear the colors and when you chant the sound vibration, what it is that you're attuning your personality, your persona to that particular force. So Harim connects you to the Haru energy, right? It also connects you to the Shiva and Shakti energy, Harim and clean. You bring these energies together and you unify. You connect with the divine masculine and feminine energies, and then you're increasing your magnetism. Another thing, too, is when you write down the things in which you want to see in life. What's going on is that your brain is focusing on the things that you want. And it's good for you to do this in the morning. It's good for you to do your chants and meditations in the morning, because that's when your conscious mind is not in the way. When your conscious mind has retreated, that's when you want to do your chants and when you want to do your affirmations. When you go into meditation and when you're doing these particular chants, what's happening is that you're tuning your life force to behave a certain way. And therefore, it expresses itself to you a certain way. You're transforming and changing your temperament. Another thing that you can do is when the sun is out in the morning is to get out and breathe solar particles. It is around that time. In fact, those who are interested in herbs and herbalism is in the morning around dawn when you get out, or when the time when the dew is on the ground. That's when you want to pick your herbs. You see what I mean? So you learn about herbs. Sometimes there may be spearmint growing, or you may in your yard or so forth. Or you need to learn how to identify plants and everything else. There's always a sacred time to do certain things, and this is what Baba Tasiba was saying earlier. Another thing, when you are constantly feeling stomach problems, a lot of people are having all kind of stomach problems because of the diet instead of the livid that we're on here. If you can get off the diet, get on the livid. That's one thing. Also, to help you is what you want to do is you want to take your hands. I'm gonna stand up a little bit, and what you want to do is you want to rub your stomach. Okay, you're doing this. Actually, you want to do it clockwise. You want to do this 36 times, rubbing your stomach 36 times in the morning. Do this every morning. Get up and you want to rub your stomach 36 times in the morning. Because what this is doing is that this breaking up all that clogged up energy in your abdomen, and it's happening for you to flow, right? Because if your gut is thrown off, then you're not going to be able to think properly. One of the reasons why people's thoughts are sluggish and slow is because they're clogged up. And literally, people are not able to think correctly, and their minds are clogged up because they're full of shit. So when you can maybe break this up, drink some water, break this up. Also, you can do your belly when you pump your stomach 36 times as well. You want to break all that stuff up because you want the dwamutef, the nectar that's within the stomach. Dwamutef. You want dwamutef. You want kwebsanu. You want your stomach and you want your small intestine and all that. You want your liver, amsta or mesta. You want all that to be functioning properly. Another thing that you can do is you have your kidneys. Massage your kidneys. And you massage your kidneys and you can do 36 rotations. And then you're going to pull your ears 36 times. And what's happening is by pulling your ears after massaging your kidneys, you're causing the energy in your meridians to circulate throughout your body. Your kidneys are linked to your life force. So it's good for you to drink water. It's good for you to make sure that you're eating healthy, so you want healthy kidneys. And this is where the internal alchemy is coming in. A lot of times when our kidneys are not healthy, we'll find ourselves being tired and sluggish. So therefore, it's good for you to massage your kidneys and then sit, meditate. And what you want to visualize and see is the energy as you're breathing in through your nose. The energy is coming up, and then it's going down. Energy coming up, coming back down. Energy coming up, down. So you're breathing in. You want your stomach to come out like a pot belly. You're not breathing into the mouth. You're only breathing into the nose. Now, if you do breathe out of the mouth, you can do that. But don't breathe in through the mouth. Breathe in through the nose and then breathe out of the mouth. Or you can breathe in through the nose and out of the nose, which is one of the reasons why you want your system to be freed of mucus, because it's hard to do that when you're clogged up. A lot of the foods that we get out of the stores these days got so much mucus in it that it causes us to constantly be clogged up. A lot of the cow's milk and everything else, a lot of foods that you eat that produces mucus are toxins. So when we're able to get the mucus and calm down on the mucus in our systems, we're able to allow the energy to come and circulate through us. This is when you start to develop your superpowers and your intuition increases. The more you do the breathing exercises and you chant, you meditate on like the sound vibration, the more you do that, if you can do that every morning for at least 15 minutes a day, try this for like a couple of weeks and see how you feel throughout the day. And then this is how you start to develop your intuition. So you want to make sure that there's a balance of your intuitive and your discriminatory functions. One way that you can do that is what I call Chido. Now, Chido is a very simple process. It's a very simple move. And I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate really quick. Let me see. And you can just simply do moves like this. Very simple. And then you can move with your feet. I don't know if you can see my legs with your leg out. And try to make yourself square up. So another thing you can do, get a little fancy with it. You see what I mean? And when you're breathing in, you're gonna make up your own dance. And when you make up your own dance, as you're moving, okay, you're gonna see the energy circulate like down your arm. When you push out, you don't see the energy shooting out of your hand. What it is that you see the energy coming down your arm and stopping, okay? And this is how you start to develop your intuitive faculties, because then you become extra sensitive to the things going on around you. Your intuition increases and everything else. Another thing that is good for you to do is go where there are trees. Go to a forested area, and it's good for you to do these type of exercises, and also hold a tree, put your hand on a tree and do the breathing exercises on the tree. And what the tree does is that it will absorb the negative energy in your auric field, and to take that energy and it will purify it and cleanse it. So there's a such thing in Japan, there's a such thing that they call forest bathing. Now in ancient Kemet, if you notice, you look at the pillars, those huge pillars, those fathoms, that's what they're called, because they're so wide, you can't fathom them. You can't get your arm around them. If you look on the top of some of those fathoms, especially in like the temple of Amun Ra, and you notice that there's leaves on top of them because those represent trees. Those were places of initiation. In the primordial times or primal times of humanity, if you want to call it that, they would go and they would initiate into the forest, and they'll go out into the wooded area where people will get initiated. And they'll start to connect with the forest, with the trees, and they'll start to exchange energy. And they'll literally learn from the plants, learn from the trees. It says when Temu, or when Nebuchadnezzar created self, Nebuchadnezzar also transferred its essence into creepy things, plants, as well as humans. So each and every one of us, as well as inanimate objects, as well as plants and even insects, it has the energies of Ra. Every time you eat a fruit, every time you eat something, you're also taking upon the divine energy, but there's different frequencies and qualities of the energy in which you're bringing in and putting into your being. So I'm going to go ahead. I see where Siva Or has come back. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pass the mic to you.
Dua usiba panata pupamaat onkwas de jet onkuja saneb ubinapike panabu herumati. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and donate yourself to hashtag bro
Rob
Row
Blackstorm.
Black Storm. You want to give him that? Give him that, brother.
Yeah, it's Rob Blackstorm. It's right there on the bottom. If you want to donate, you can hit my Cash App $, Rob Blackstorm 7 or Rob Blackstorm 7, or if you do PayPal, you can hit Rob Watson7 at gmail.com. I appreciate all the donations and the love for sure, for sure. My birthday's coming up next week, so any donation is going to expand my nation. So I appreciate it. With that being said, I want to get into a little bit of Q&A real quick. I don't know if if you guys have any questions, I'm going to ask one that I have. But if you guys have any questions in the comments, definitely now is the time to put them in there, and I'll definitely relay them to the brothers. We got about 22, 23 minutes before, we shut this down. So we could go a little over, I think I'm learning a lot myself. So I'm writing some of these things down. I'm learning some of these movements, and it's reinvigorating some of the knowledge that I've learned from, being in the Asar set and studying some of the Kemetic knowledge and things like that. So yeah, definitely grateful, definitely thankful. My first question, and any one of you brothers or both of you brothers could take this. So there is what about, like, as far as meditation or going into meditative trance? When you listen to music, you go into a meditative trance, or when you're dancing, or they have something called, oh, where's the brother? Well, hopefully you log back in. But you could go into dancing, you could go into a runner's high. Would those be considered forms of meditation? And if so, how can you use that energy also to tap into those supernatural intuitive abilities as well?
When you get in your zone, what it is that you get beyond what is called the conscious mind. And the conscious mind it protects us from things, but it can also get in the way. You see, so let's say you're dancing and you're getting into a zone. You could say that it's not so much exactly the same as meditation, but it does the same thing once you get into the zone. Am I making sense? You get
Yeah.
what I mean? But
When you move yourself, so to speak, in trance.
exactly, because you can stay in a way. You can, like Tai Chi is a form of a dance. Certain forms of African dance. You're
We
dancing.
got an echo.
We got an echo. A form of the spirit. Like
Hold up, brother. Hold up, brother. Hold up one second. There's an echo. I think Ptah, I think you have another two. Hold on. Is it? Hold on. Okay.
All right, Khepera, Ptah, send it back. Send it back, brother.
All right.
Send it back.
Wait, he didn't finish yet.
Okay.
But Brother Ptah, turn your mic off real quick. I think it's an echo from your speaker. There you go. All right. Say something, Khepera.
All right.
Okay, yeah. It was his speaker. Okay, go ahead.
All right.
You probably, Brother Ptah, you probably have two. You probably have the YouTube on and this on. So turn the YouTube off if you got the YouTube on in the background, because we can hear echo. All right, go ahead, Khepera. Continue. Oh no, turn your mic off. Yeah, because it's an echo. Okay, go ahead.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and say yes. I kind of differentiated between meditation and dancing, but you
Real
can see
quick,
in a way.
the reason I say that, not to interrupt, but to interject before you continue. The reason I say that is because, in our ancient culture, when we were doing ritual, we always participated in ecstatic dancing and ecstatic trance, where we would channel, ancestors, and channel do what they call deity possession and things like that, where certain deities would mount us and things like that, or mounting ceremony. And they were definitely in a meditative trance, so to speak, when they were dancing, when they were even they have something called runner's high. And I've experienced that myself, running or jogging, and where you go into a trance, and you pretty much just like a meditation, where you're not even running anymore. You're not even feeling your feet hit the ground. You're just strictly in your subconscious.
Right. Your conscious mind is left. And that's the thing, there's in Orisha tradition that survives in over here in the West, in the diaspora, or in Vodun. A person may dance, and they may dance. Let's say there's certain movements that, let's say if you want to dance and you're taking on the energy of Shango, then you grab lightning out the sky and you throw it at your feet, and then you grab another lightning bolt, throw it at your feet, and then you move a certain way, and then eventually, if you get into the mood, if Shango chooses to come down, Shango will mount a person. You see what I mean? And they'll take on the energies and the lightness of Shango. And what's interesting though is when they go into trance and when they get mounted, that person is called a horse in these traditions. When a person becomes a horse of the Orisha, what happens is that they will test to make sure that this person has the actual energy of the Orisha. They'll sit down, they will talk to the Orisha. There's certain gestures that the Orisha will make. And a lot of times, let's say if there's a Babalawo or a priest of Ifa that's in the room, he may not tell anybody, but the Orisha come down into that person, and that Orisha will go straight to the Babalawos and salute them. Whether that person, they know, the people in the room know that that's a Babalawo or not, the Orisha will know. And the thing about it is that it's more than just being hyped psychologically. You're definitely tapping into something. Like for instance, there was a brother that I know was explaining about Eshu. Eshu is to the Yoruba what Sebek was the ancient Kemet, right? And he had made a coconut. He put the coconut behind a door, and he went to a bimbe, and somebody got mounted by the energies of Eshu, and Eshu came and talked to him and started telling him all the stuff that he asked him when he put him behind the door. The person who was mounted by Eshu, the person didn't know this, but the Eshu within him that had mounted him was able to tell him exactly what he had been praying for. That's how you know that you're tapping into something that is universal. But going back to the idea of meditative state, I think mainly what it is that these are methods of getting you out of the conscious mind so that your mask is not blocking you, or that the mind is no longer blocking you, and then you're inviting the frequency to take place into your being and so forth. You know, so dancing, you might could say African dance is a form of which you might call yoga in so many ways. But you're channeling and you're opening up channels as you're making these various moves. And there's different dances for every Orisha in the Orisha tradition.
Let me let our brother Ptah get up in this. What say you, brother Ptah, on that question? Oh, you take yourself off mute. Let me take you off mute.
Yeah, I didn't hear the question, but I basically understand what he's saying because it's back to what I was saying about the origins of existence, the creation, development of the universe. Remember, to answer all your questions, you must have absolute accountability and style validation. That's why we're triangulating everything here. So to make sure that you understand that everything is coming back with the same thing, when you begin to evoke our netarus, you have to go back to the Mastaba text, the pyramid text. The third one was the coffin text. I didn't say the coffin text here. I meant to say the coffin text also. Then the Shabaka stone, then the Kemenu, and so on and so forth. So remember, we're answering the 4 questions. What are the 4 questions, audience? Please remember. Somebody tell me the 4 questions. The 4 questions are, who am I? Where do I come from? Why am I here? And where am I going? We answer these questions by understanding the concept of self-creation and through knowing the first primordial text, which is your cultural, cosmic, collective, conscious spirituality text, which is they call it the religious text. We don't have a religion. We are not religious people. We don't believe in God. Got nothing to do with Christ, nothing to do with Allah, with paradise. We believe in the creator of all existence, which is a spirituality. Okay? And in this spirituality, our creator, first, the creator says, first, you must release yourself. Then you must seek out yourself and overcome the sensation of weightlessness. Understand? He said, I found no place upon which I could stand. So I straightway brought forth from my own thoughts, mind, the primeval mind from out of the primeval ocean of nothingness. Because the creator felt the sensation that he was undesirable for them. I didn't say he, I meant he, she. It was undesirable for them. And so he brought forth Amen. Amen became the primordial mound. That's where the creator stood on the mound and he collected himself. This is gravity. We're talking the 4 primordial field force, electromagnetism, weak force, strong force, and gravity. You must apply these information, the scientific information, the mathematical equation, and our cultural spirituality in order so that his answers give balance to the scale. The scale must be balanced at all time, or we're just Greeks and Romans. The Romans are fond of logic. Okay, we are not logical people. We're cosmic people. Okay, so now, then the creator said, and then first I must release myself. Then I seek out myself, overcome the sensation of weightlessness. He's describing the 4 primordial field force. Then he says, embrace my within myself Then I acquire the ability to experience the phenomenon of being, because now he becomes Khepera, the fourth attribute of manifestation. And Khepera represents the expanding universe, atomic energy, dark body radiation. And this is while we call upon the ancestors. These are the ancestors. You know, I'm talking to the ancestors this, I'm talking to the ancestors that. You must be able to applicate this with absolute accountability and style validation, so you're no longer a space cadet, just some scholar that just read a book. You applicate it within the Ipeteru, Shabitem, Tuaheru, Pamat. So now we know that the first ancestors, who are, when we talk about ancestors, you have to be able to gravitate your forces within you to acquire the ability to understand who are the first ancestors. The first ancestors were born of the womb of Nut, the sky, and begetting of Seb, the earth. They had 5 children. These 5 children are Heru, Asar, Sut, As, and Nebhet. These are the first 5 children, and they are the first ancestors. So when we talk about ancestors, you must bring your mind and thoughts to triangulate this question back to the first ancestors. And these first ancestors are born of Newton and Seb. So now we know that we celebrate the Renpet. The Renpet in Medunetta means the new year. Renpet means the new year. But I'm saying, okay, Renpet means new year. What does Ren mean? Ren means name. In Medunetta, that's the mouth and the water sign, N. That's name. And Pet means the sky. So how in the heck does Renpet mean New Year's? It doesn't make sense. What you have to do is you change them. You have to take each Medunetta and always reverse it. So now if Ren means name, you reverse it and it becomes Ner. And Ner in Medunetta means energy. And then you say Pet means sky or the celestial firmament. And then you turn that around, you got Tep. And Tep means time. Now you got like Zep Tepi, first time, right? So you got time, the sky or the celestial firmament. Then you got Ren, which is name, and Ner is energy. Now it's starting to make sense. You're starting to applicate it. Now you have to apply it to the primordial temple discipline of the concept of self-creation. And now, boom, it makes sense now. So now you have the Ren Pet. The Ren Pet scientifically occurs when the star Suptit or Cyrus appears in the horizon in Kemet together. When the star in the sky, the star and the sun rises in the morning together, indicates mathematically and scientifically that our Earth has made one complete revolution of the sun. So if you're going to Gregorian calendar and you're a scholar, that means you're running down to Times Square on January 31st, watching some mechanical ball fall. You're being Hellenized at this moment. I can't even talk to my people at this moment. They're under a spell. This is the spell that they put you under, this Gregorian calendar. Take the Gregorian calendar down from your wall. So you have to ask yourself, how is it that we can wake up every morning and be mental, physical, spiritual, subjugated slaves, and this food can still be in control every day? Since the Du Bois, Garvey, all the great teachers that we had before us. And if we look at it, and then we come back and understand that we ain't moved one step forward. Not one step have we moved forward.
Right.
Talk about we want reparations. They said we gave you Jesus. We're repairing your freaking seats. You're repairing your damn streets up. We got your bus station. You know what I'm saying? Just silliness that they went on us, right? So now, how is it? What is the device? What is the mechanism that they use to hold us under this spell, brother? I mean, you're supposed to be OG. You're supposed to be Mac Daddy. You're supposed to be on top of the game. You know what I mean? You're the Mac man, or so on and so forth. And yet, you wake up and you're still a mental, physical, spiritual, subjugated slave. Somewhere there's a problem. This is the elephant I want to address in the room right now, because we're on our last segment of the show, and I got to make sure that when we fall back and as Kaba Kamini would say, it ain't over till we win. We would say, within the whole of the universe, nothing is ever added, nothing never lost. But what mechanical device? What device that they're using? The device that they're using is the Gregorian chronological timeline. They moved the center of the planet over to Greenwich, England. Stonehenge is the center of the planet right now. The center of the world landmass is Stonehenge. It's called GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. Google it. And UTC, Universal Time Coordinated. So if you got a watch on your arm, you're a slave. Because you're under Greenwich Mean Time, Stonehenge, England. When we know in cartology of study of maps, we know that the center of the world landmass is 30 longitude and 30 latitude, or 29 point blah, 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 longitude and 29, but they say 30, 30, okay? And that falls right under the Merku, the great pyramid of Egypt, or Kemet, okay? Our ancestors knew, built the pyramid on the center of the world landmass millions and millions of years. The pyramid is not 5,000 years old. That pyramid is hundreds of thousands of years old. How do we know this? How do we know this? Because each and every megalithic and monolithic monument is orientated to these celestial axes. For the spring equinox, they got the southeast is Septet and Sirius, and the northeast is the circumpolar stars, the never setting stars, which are Polaris, Vegan, Theban, and Draco, they call it, okay? And so we know this. We know that. So now they know so now the center of the world landmass is the Merku at 3030, and that's called the Nilotic Meridian. We run from the pyramid straight down into Ethiopia, where Ashra Kwesi goes every year to the celestial monuments of T, where they have the Ethiopian calendar. Then they run it straight down to Nabta Playa in Western Sudan. And they run that straight down on the Nilotic Meridian, straight down. You look on it's a Nilotic Meridian, runs straight down to South Africa to Adam. They call it Adam's calendar. And on Adam's calendar, they have this stone on this big ridge. It's 500-foot high ridge, and it's flats out. And there's a megalithic stone calendar there. And there are 3 large megalithic stones. And on the 4th one, it's in the shape of a hawk. And when they run the computer of the 3 stars of Orion on top of these 3 stones, they run it backwards. It goes back 280,000 years. So our ancestors had to be able to see this 280,000 years ago, right? And then they had to go another 280,000 years just to see it again. Then another 280,000 years just to work out the schematics on it. Then kick out, work out the logistics. So this cultural spirituality goes back 250,000 years. So we're talking it's 5 million years old. We're talking a 5 million year old story that we ruled this planet. How do they have you so stupid? How do they have you so stupid that that you're telling us our story is 5,000 years old? So now listen, the phenomenon of recession is 26,000 years. We just came out of the great age of Pisces on the Gregorian calendar, which is Uncle Set, and we're now in 13 years into Aquarius, which is Ma'at Asar. So each year age is 2,100 years. Pisces, 2,160 years. Now we go back to Aries, 2,160 years. That's 4,000 years right there. Okay. Now we go back to Taurus, that's 6,000. Then we go down to Gemini, that's 8,000. We go to Cancer, which is really Khepera. All the Greeks did was turn the crab from the beetle to a crab, right? That's all it did was corrupt, plagiarize, regurgitate, and feed it back to you and tell you it's history. And in history, you don't even exist. You're a slave in history. That's why we're telling you this is our story. Now we go back 2,000, one more great age. This is a great age, or dispensation, which in Latin is dos, despen. Des is French for dos, dispensation. So now we go back down to Leo, which is Herukuti or Hamashis, and we know that was 10,000 years ago, 12,000 yeers ago. But we know the Sphinx could not have been built 12,000 years ago because of it. They call it paleoclimatology. Google this word, paleoclimatology. This was the last great ice age, and when the glacier sheets melted, the Nile River rose up because the pyramids are up on the plateau. The Sphinx is down in the enclosure where the Nile River is. Okay, so that means that the Sphinx had to be up to his neck with water. So there's no way. That's why around the pyramid, the Sphinx enclosure wall, they have water erosion. And they're saying, damn, the dude looked at the water. The dude from Boston, Massachusetts, University of Massachusetts, Shock, he looked at it and said, don't look at me, but that water erosion looks like it's over 250,000 years old. But don't tell him I said that, because he gets kicked right out of the academia. Once you expose black people to this information, you're fired. You've been dogged. You'll never get another job. They can never let black people understand that they equated the Great Nile Valley River has been there for millions and millions of years, and we have inhabited it to it. And these megalithic archaeological monumental monuments, they call it polygonal. The stones are polygonal. Polygonal looks like a checkerboard, okay? And these stones fit together and they're earthquake resistant. And polymer means it was casted. They casted these. That's what they call monolithic. Monolithic was one stone, and they used latex, lay devices. Technology was so. Can you hear me, okay, brother?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This knowledge was so divine that they talking about we had a chisel and a ball. You know what I mean? We had so much technology that they're using today. They can't even build what we built today. They couldn't even build it. With the technology they have today, they can't do it. They can't duplicate it. Okay, but yet we was using chisel and a ball. Now they got but they're starting to use the concept of the Zeptepi. So this is why I'm trying to make sure that our ancestors have gave us this information, that we've already had this information down. We can trace our lineage, which is called the GLOK/Q, the Great Line of Kings and Queens. Okay, so now I want to bring this in at the same time. You know, I'm talking 90 miles an hour because I got to get my time in here before Kepper get back. But I want to make sure that you get to understand how to track your ancestors back to the first ancestor. So right now, today is the 87th day of the year after the heliacal rising. Remember, I'm always talking heliacal rising because that's our geodite. Geodite means your point of origin. You have to have a point of origin. That is your geodite. Our geodite is Suptit and Sirius that rises together on the horizon. When that happens, that means it's the Ren Pet. That means our Earth has made one complete revolution of the sun. That's the New Year. So on the 360th day of the year was the equivalent of July 29th. July 19th on the Gregorian calendar is the 360th day of the year on our Ipiteru Shabitem Twahiru Pamaat. Okay? And at that day here.
I don't want to.
Wait, somebody got it.
Somebody got it. We got a lot of information. The topic, we can have a part two, because I don't want you to feel like you have to rush, because we want you to be able to digest, because you're just dropping jewels. You know what I mean? But don't feel like you have to rush. If we can like break it up into parts, and that way you can be comfortable and everybody can just hear you. You see what I mean? And
yeah, you guys always welcome. You guys always welcome on my couch, man. Trust me, I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'm taking. Look, I got notes and everything here. Look, real quick, my brother. I want to get into this question because we already at the 2-hour mark. I'm gonna go over a little bit. Brother Ptah, I got your mic because I think there's an echo coming through. But I want to put this question up from the family and have you guys answer it if you can. You know, with a bit of brevity, but concise and as powerful as I know you brothers are. So the question is, peace, family, from the Modest Moor. So I love to learn, but I struggle with retaining certain information. Any suggestions on how to help with that or why that happens? And then we'll go after this. We'll go into your guys' books and services and things like that and close out. But definitely part two of this.
Right.
Go ahead, brother Khepera. Then I'm gonna let you come in, brother Ptah.
Okay, so we live in a very stressed world, brother. That's the Modest Moor. Brother, we live in a very stressed world.
I think that's the sister, but I'm not sure. I think that's a sister, but I'm not sure.
That's a sister. Pardon me, sister. We live in a very stressed world, and we're living in these cities, and a lot of us feel overstimulated, and it causes us to, forget and not be able to retain a lot. So earlier when I talked about the breathing exercise, if you can do that at least 15 minutes, right, before you start your day, that'll center you. So I talked about, they call this the Anjali Mudra.
Before you get into it, brother, what about meditation at night? What about the same thing, doing it before bed, before you go into the astral realm? Would you recommend either or would you prefer the morning? Okay.
Now, usually the reason why I talk about the morning is because it's where they're rising and they're about to start their day. Now, if you can find that time, which I think is very good, and I would, definitely recommend it. If you can do it in the morning and at night, that's even more beneficial, because you're also winding down while you're going to go to bed, and you're preparing yourself when you enter into the astral realm. You see, so you start in the morning, and then you set the precedence today. You see how I have my hands? Now, this is the prayer position. A lot of churches used to, they started telling people to stop praying like this, start praying like this, because they probably started linking it to Hinduism or something. But what I'll tell you is that this connects and combines all 5 elements, and it also helps to connect the left and right brain hemisphere. Sit and put this by your heart center, and you're going to breathe. You can do a breathing meditation. You're breathing in, and you can chant mentally as you're breathing out. Breathe in, and you're going to just think. At first, you do it where you can hear it audibly, and then you do it mentally. So then you do it mentally where you're doing it in silence, doing the breath, the breathing, and then you're chanting in silence. So you can start off 5 minutes, then build up to 10 minutes, then build up to 15 minutes, then a half an hour or an hour. You see, so do it as long as you like. But this will send to you, and you're going to notice if you can calm down the mind and the mental activity that this false world continues to cause us to have with all this anxiety, you're going to notice that your memory becomes sharper and sharper. Also an alkaline diet, more alkaline in a diet also is good for that. But yes, the breath work will do wonders, because the breath is connected to the mind. In fact, the breath is the master of the mind. So when you're able to breathe, right, and take in the air and do the psychokinetic movements, one way that you could do it is something I learned from an elder, Baba Heru, Uncle Rasamasi Ptah, is he would take a copy of the Ptah Maru or a copy of some of the text where they show the movements on the walls, and he would go into these movements and mimic the Netaru and their movements. If it's like the Mat pose, he'll put his arms out and you'll kneel, and then you'll breathe into the Mat pose. You see what I mean? And that's a form of meditation. Siba?
All right. Had to pull. Thank you. All right. Brother Ptah's ready to fire. Let me turn the mic on.
3 minutes. 3 minutes for us to answer each question, okay? Each question that's answered, that's on the Q&A. This is Q&A time. We got 3 minutes apiece, Khepera Ptah. Don't run with it, baby. Okay, that's great. Now, the question she's answering is that why can't she figure out what's going on, and she can't retain this information, and why is it not being facilitated through her spiritually? Is because of how you've been trained. Your training has been for self-destruction, so that you don't meet the ultimate of your spirituality. So the first thing you say when I go to sleep, what do you say when you go to sleep? Oh God, before I sleep, I lay you down to sow my take, or some foolish, that poem, that nursery rhyme you got. You calling on God when you wake up, when you go to sleep? What is it that you do? Who are you calling for? You know what I'm saying? So the thing is that's why you have your Hesi, your Saku, your affirmation, your cosmic libation. You connect yourself again to that star something. You say, oh, I ask that you bless me on this, the 83rd. He said, so when you start up your Hesi, O Ra Never Teshara, or Asar Mupat Natanu, whoever, O Sekhmet, O Ptah, whatever it is that you're calling upon, bless me and my family and friends on this, the 83rd, 87th Heru day of the year after the Hinoka Rising, leaving 273 days remaining until Ubin Supted. Then you say today's the 15th Heru day of the 3rd Abet month of Sobek, the 2nd Heru day of Hapi, the 27th Heru day of the 3rd Abet month of the 1st Ertra, which is season of Shemu. And you have to gravitate yourself to your present moment and time and space, so you can hook up to the cosmic environment, which you are solarizing. This whole conversation today is about solarization and the Asarianization. We are becoming a Asarianized, so we can become our divine birthright of immortality. So you have to perform your sacred Hesi, your Saku, and your affirmation, just like I did it. I ain't nothing special. I have to follow laws. Same laws I have to follow is the same laws that makes the sun rise, gravity, everything is comprised within these cosmic forces that allow us love, guidance, protection through these daily experiences upon matter. And when you wake up in the morning, you perform this. The Egyptian nightmare, the Kemetic nightmare, is to wake up and don't know your name. Then there's another dream you have when you're flying. You ever have that dream when you're flying? I ain't had that one in a long time. I used to get it a long time ago. But do you ever get the dream when you're falling? These are Kemetic dreams. One dream when you're falling, that means you're falling into the black hole. Okay? So scientifically, you got to be able to balance these information out, and you have to be able to applicate it and apply it with the triangulation. That's all I'm saying. So that each time somebody asks us a question, let us triangulate it and bring clarity with absolute accountability and style validation, because definitive answers require definitive explanations, style validation. So continue. Can we get another question come up here?
That's it. Hopefully, Modest more that. Hopefully that worked out, Modest more. I hope that made sense for you. Yeah, I don't see any more questions. I do have a question. You're mute only because, not because I'm being mean, only because hold on, why I can't. Okay, yeah, only because the echo. So I have a question. The question I have is, as far as the triangulation and things like that, how can we apply that to our children? How can we break this down so that a child, maybe 9, 10, can understand the triangulation? And how can we apply that as far as teaching our children how to tap into that triangulation early, so that the next generation could have these tools and tips, and we could break it down, because we're dropping some heavy boulders, comets from the universe, subject matter that we can understand, a lot of us. But we want to break this down. We want to give it to the baby like Gerber, so to speak. What do you got? Let's start with you, Khepera, and then we're gonna go to Brother Ptah.
Well, what I like about it, like for instance, Brother Ptah, now he was talking about the Rosorian calendar. I think a lot of times what we do in the African traditions, and it kind of go back to the questions you asked first, as far as being able to go into meditation and so forth. Like for instance, you could take these concepts and you can take children and have them go through like little rituals and dances. You see, even like the Dogon, they do dances to represent the orbits of the stars of Sirius and Septet and so forth. You know what I mean? Well, you can do that with the children, because the thing about it, our ancestors were also participatory in their education. So they'll be like learning mathematics and science, but it's in the form of rituals and acting things out. So when we talk about the sun, we didn't just talk about the sun, we praised the sun. We treated the sun like a living, intelligent being, you see? So it's kind of like in holistic living. You take the children out and you put them in. And like, for instance, you can also tell them, like what Ptah was mentioning earlier, I like the idea of releasing yourself, seeking out yourself, overcoming weightlessness and experiencing being. You can have a child and take that child through meditation, where they'll say, okay, now you're experiencing you're experiencing weightlessness, right? And you're seeking out yourself. You're overcoming weightlessness. And then you're experiencing being. You see, so as far as working with children, I think our education system has failed us, or it was stacked against us, because they try to get us to sit down in front of somebody talking to us all day, and then they give us homework, right? And have you taken home to your parents who don't understand the homework, because they didn't change the math and everything else so that your parents won't understand them. I think the best way to do that, in my experience, is participatory. So everything that the elder was breaking off, like for instance the calendar, naming the days of the week. Like for instance, I have a so-called birthday coming up on the 24th of October, but that's actually the day of Tahuti in the month of Sebek. Now your days is right before mine, and I believe,
Yes,
right? Your day is Ra, Brother Ra. Your day is Ra in the month of Sebek. Yeah. You see what I mean? So we can go.
I didn't even know that. I'm in alignment, and I didn't even know. Yeah, Spirit told me that.
Don't even know.
Yeah, the name was Ra Blackstorm, and I decided that Spirit was like, "Yo, change the name," and I changed it to Ra. Exactly. I knew what it meant from the midday sun, but yeah, I didn't know the alignment to the day. So that's
exactly the line to the day. See, so the calendar is pretty accurate. I give it to the elder. You know what I'm saying? So I think if the brother elder can break off with the calendar and get people to participate and do things in a participatory form, and they'll get the calendar they'll get it like nothing, and triangulate it. They'll be able to get it that way, because then we have thought, words, and action. the triangle. So we get the thoughts, we get the words, and we get the action. That's the way I see it for as triangulating. You see, that's my version of triangulation. I'm still learning from the elder about his version of triangulation. But so far,
Yeah.
thought, words, and action, being able to break it down and make it physical.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's go to Brother Ptah. We ready?
Yes,
We ready?
absolutely. Absolutely. Brother Seba, words are Macharu. Macharu means victoriously and righteously great, true of voice. So once you have the Ipetaru, you open it to the third month on the Ipetaru, Shabitem Tuaru Bama, and it's the month of Sobek. Okay? And then you don't put it all the way up on the wall. Where you got kids, you put it as low as the kids are. Whatever size the kids are, you put it on the wall right there so when they walk by, they can see it. Don't make them have to strain their neck to look at it. Let them look at it right here, boom. And now they can see the Necharu. And they can identify the 9 days in a week. So let's just break the 9 days in a week down so you can understand. There's 7 days in a week that you know: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I bet you know how to say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I bet you know the 12 months of the year. But the 12 months of the year, the months have different dates. I mean, different. One month has 31 days. Some months has 30 days. There's a month that has 28 days, and then every 4 years, there's another day added that's 29. Okay, how do you know what day of the month it is? You don't never know until they gave you a nursery rhyme. 30 days has September, April, June, and November. The rest have 31, except for February has 28, and sometimes 20. That's a nursery rhyme. That's the only way you can know. But there's only 30 days in a month for a lunar cycle calendar. That's why any calendar that has 30 days in a month is here to corrupt your mind, because it's only good for one thing. It's an agricultural calendar. It's to feed you. They just wanted to feed you. They disconnected you from the cosmic environment, the cosmic tapestry of that Milky Way galaxy, in which you become part of that black hole, part of that Milky Way galaxy. What does the Milky Way galaxy do? The Milky Way galaxy expands with the universe. This is called immortality. What part of this equation aren't we getting? Okay? And this is what it's all about. So the Kemetic calendar, they're gonna tell me it's 30 days in a month. Yeah, I understand that, but why don't the Kemetic people tell you about the solar and sidereal part? Why are you denying our people this information? That's why I'm here to present the mathematical equation to the people. They don't think you could think. The Kemetic teachers do not think you have enough brain to think, because they don't want you to be independent, because they have to feed upon you each and every month to get paid for these classes you're taking. My classes are free. I charge you $20 a class. For the Queen Mother Goddess, I teach class every Sunday at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 2-hour classes for $20. Okay? And I give you the same information you're getting right now. You're getting all this, and you're writing it all down. Because I make it so that you become. I can't charge you for the information because it's your own information. How am I going to charge you for their own information? And I accept donations, but I really don't want to charge nobody because this is your information. And we only have a a time slot right now that this cosmic alignment, this great solar flash that's going to happen, this environmental relapse that's going to occur with the solar flares, the CMEs coming off the surface of the sun. You see all the earthquakes are already erupting. I mean, all the volcanology, all the volcanoes are already erupting, which are creating these earthquakes, which create these tsunamis, which create these water shipments, and everything is happening right now because our ancestors are working for us right now. This is called Sekhmet. The Netherus are working for us right now. Okay? They got us believing in some God you can't even see, some monotheistic Abraham ideology about Muslims. Going to you're a Muslim. You're going to the Muslims were the greatest slave traders that there ever was. They enslaved more black people that ever lived, walked on this planet. Okay, now I'm a Muslim. I mean, that information was good back in the 70s. Don't get me wrong. In the 50s and 60s and the 70s, that information when you went to jail and you became a Muslim, that was cool then, because there wasn't no information. But this is a new age order of the great golden age of Marapi Asar. Everything that is, was, and shall be that is conceivable is now filtering through the atmosphere, the stratosphere, the sonosphere. Everything is right there. This is a new age order. All you have to do is have the frequency. You have to be in tune. And this attunement becomes through what we're talking about today with Brother Ptah, the solarization. But you can't attune yourself to nothing. if you do not know how to move with the stars, with something. There's no greater inspiration than the movement of the stars and the light that fulfills it. And then from these stars, we're able to eat properly. Go ahead, Siva.
We stop right here. Yeah,
That's good, because
y'all on fire. Y'all are on fire. Fire, 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 fire. Listen, I'm learning a lot, and I can't say that often. You know, there's very few brothers and sisters who I watch, and I'm like, man, I've learned a breadth of knowledge that I really like. I got to rewatch this video myself a couple of times to grasp a lot of the gems, because y'all are dropping heavy, heavy, heavy science, and I'm very delighted and appreciative and grateful. So thank you first and foremost. I have a question that came up in my mind, and I want to ask you, brothers. I'm going to start with Khepera. And I know I said 2 hours, but we gonna stretch it a little more, because it's just, if you guys have the time, you know, I'm gonna stretch a little more, but not too much more. I don't want to be another. I could go 4 hours, you know, so I don't want to do that tonight. But we're in the eclipse season, right? We just had the Ring of Fire eclipse last week, and we're having another eclipse. So we had a solar eclipse, and we're having a lunar eclipse on the 28th, where there's a full moon. Give the people some insight on, you know, how the Kemetians in ancient times, based on your knowledge and research, handled eclipses and Ring of Fire eclipses, or these solar phenomena, this lunar phenomena, and B, how can we utilize this energy? Because the downloads that I've gotten personally in my meditations was like, this is really for us, for melanated beings, to kind of sharpen our sword and our tool. No one else. No disrespect to anybody, you know, Caucasian, anybody who watches this, but this is a time for us, this particular month and this particular window, for us to fast track and amplify our spiritual currency, so to speak, if we are in alignment with that. What do you brothers think? I'm going to start with Khepera, and I know Brother Ptah, let the elder close it out, and then we go, and then that'll be the last question, for real, for real. All right.
All right, so part of solarization, it doesn't exclude lunarization. So if we're going to have a solar eclipse, then we're also going to work with Ra's energy as well. You know, we're saying that Sharak Ra never Teshara, Nutiteret Ra never Teshara, Anu Ra never Teshara. You know, if it's a lunar eclipse, and that Sharak Kanzu, Anutiteret Kanzu, Anu Kanzu. And that Sharak Ra never Teshara, Nutiteret Ra never Teshara, Anu Ra never Teshara. And what it is that what you're doing by repeating this over and over again, you're acclimating yourself to the connection of the Netarut that's dealing with the solar and the lunar aspect. Because what you're doing is that you're combining and working with the left and right brain hemispheres. Now, I think it's important also, when you're dealing with the time of the moon, you also want to pay homage and connect with the sacred, the divine principle of Tahuti. Tahuti deals with the lunar aspect as well in so many ways, okay? So that's when you want to go, you want to ask questions, and you want to meditate and receive answers. So one of the things that you can do, and remember, we're more intelligent than we think that we've been taught we are. So when it comes to those times when you're in the middle of a solar or lunar eclipse, just go into meditation on that time period, and that time, and just start writing whatever comes to mind, and just let it flow. Let the information come and receive downloads. Because a lot of times what you discover is that the very things that you're writing down is accurate and it checks out. Because you actually know things, but you don't even think you know them. You'll be surprised. Go into automatic writing around that time. Also, the stages of the moon. When you're coming into any type of waxing, and I'm just a little bit extra, a waxing moon, that's when you want to manifest. The things that you want to manifest, that you want to focus on, or time of the waxing moon. The things that you want to leave, like things that you want to get rid of, then you focus on the waning moon. And that's Sharak Kanzu, Nutitera Kanzu, and Nu Kanzu. And Baba Siva, Siva Ur.
Ekia, Dua, Paratapa Pamat, Ekia, truth and righteously great. Your words are truth and righteously great. Now, another way to look at it, remember you're triangulizing. Can you hear me, Khepera? Can you hear me? You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's a little.
Okay, well, I'm going to shoot it anyway. He must went to the bathroom. Okay, listen. Now, with the eclipse, we have to focus on the presence and evoking the presence of Ra, Jehuti, and Seb. Now, how can we transform this down into compartmentalize it down into a terrestrial level? Is that it comes into etymology, into the Medunetta. Now, the first written and spoken word on this planet is in Medunetta. And that word is the circle and the dot. And the circle and the dot is the name for Ra. And this name occurs in the sky at the moment of a total eclipse of the sun. When the moon passes in front of the sun until it darkens the sun, until you see that diamond. When you see that diamond pop up, boom, the moon turns the sun black. And that is the dot. And at the moment that it turns it black, a ring appears around the dot. Bing! And there's a ring of light. And that was the creator, Ra, not the creator, but Ra, signing his name in the sky. And our ancestors took a stick and they put it on the ground and they made a circle and they made a dot. And somebody said, Ra, this is the first written and spoken word known to humankind. It was not cuneiform. It was Medunetta. And the first written and spoken word on this planet is called Ra. It's called the circle and the dot, and it occurs in the sky through an eclipse, a total eclipse, not a preambum, not a partial eclipse. A total eclipse of the sun occurs and it produces, you look, you'll see it. You'll see it. People all over the planet are waiting for this ring just to see, and they tell you not to look at it. They'll tell you don't look at it. It'll blind you. I look at it every time I see a solar eclipse. I want to see it as it's happening. This is our ancestor. The ancestors. This is not the ancestors. These are the ancient ones. We know who the ancestors are, right? We know who the first ancestors are. Is the first 5 children born on Newton Seb. Now we know who the ancient ones are. The ancient ones are Ra, Jehuti is the moon, Seb is the earth, and Nut is the sky. All four of these four are present at the moment of a total eclipse of the sun. This is when you start to meditate. This is when you applicate all the things that Khepera Ptah is saying to you. But I'm just trying to give you a foundation of primordial temple discipline to lay your foundation in Ma'at so that you'll receive the divine principles and expressions that the Netches are going to give you. Because, I mean, I'll be 70 years old in 2 years. Okay? I'm an old fart. Okay? I need you young brothers and you young sisters to get this information, to be able to go and see things that are beyond my comprehension that the ancestors are going to give you. I'm just laying a foundation for you. So when you see that, now they're telling you, oh, you got to put a box up there and then wait for the sun to cast a shadow on the box. Oh, wow, that's a nice eclipse. I ain't looking at no box. I'm looking actually at the sun. Because I want to talk to my ancestors. They talk to their God. They talk to a God that you can't even see. Their God is a made-up fantasy that they can't even see. They got you believing that Jesus is going to come out the sky and free you. Some white-haired, blonde-haired, blue-eyed man is going to come out the sky, and they talk to that guy that don't even exist. Jesus never existed. The Christ existed. The Christ is Lagos Circle 7 in the temple. The Christ is a name given to the Buddha, the Nagarjuna, the Mahdi. Christ, right? The Christ is the deliverer of the cosmic breath that comes every 2,160 years within the great year. The great year is 2,000, and there's 12 great years, which comes out to 26,000 year, which is one great year. A great age. One great age is 2,160 years. There's 12 of them. But one great year, right, is 26,000 years. Like there's a common year and there's a great year. So if somebody's talking mathematics, you got to be able to applicate it esoterically to break down the fundamental principles and its equations in a temporal discipline manner. Okay, but we're talking about the presence of the eclipse, and this eclipse appears. And it is the creator signing his name in the sky. And it's called the first written and spoken word known to humankind. And our ancestors wrote, but they didn't speak it. They spoke it, but didn't write it. Now they're starting to speak it and it's called speaking and writing. It's the first written and spoken word because it appeared in the sky. And when the solar eclipse occurs, and it became a ring.
Now you know the real Lord of the Ring.
Exactly.
That's the Lord of the Ring right there. I was just adding that in, Steve. Or
do I?
All right.
Rob next though. Keep it going.
No, go ahead. Say that again because you had say it again because you had an echo. Go ahead. Say it again, Khepera.
Now you know who the true Lord of the Ring is. It's not Sauron. It's Sarah.
Excellent. Khepera, tell the brothers and sisters where they can find you, your services, you know, what links or anything you want me to drop in the chat. And yeah, then I'll go to you, brother Sakai, and we'll close out. Hopefully, you know, with a prayer from your brothers and bring some good energy to the family. Go ahead, brother Khepera.
All right, so you can find me. You can find me on Instagram under Khepera /Ptah or Khepera_Ptah. And on YouTube, I'm under Ancient Wisdom Keeper. If you put Ancient Wisdom Keeper or K Ptah 360, that should bring me up on YouTube. But so one of my services is I'm a diviner. I've also been initiated into a West African tradition called Ifa, where I do divination. So for those who would like to receive a consultation to find out who their guides are, what ancestral connection that they have, and at the same time what their destiny is, I can hook you up with a divination. So you could just set an appointment. You should be able to find the site on my YouTube channel of exactly where to go and set the schedule.
Yep. Also, the same name, Khepera Ptah, on Facebook, which is how I found the brother. Go ahead, brother Ptah. Tell them where they could find you. Give me 1 second. Let me unmute your mic. Okay, go ahead.
My cash app is
that calendar. We need that calendar.
Yes, you can purchase my calendar. The Ipetaru Shabitem Twa Rupamat, which is the Medunetta name for an ancient Asarian Kemetic solar silver lunar calendar, at Cash App under lower caps PTAHASAR. Ptah Asar is in lower caps with a $sign on Cash App. Yes, and I'm also, my website is Ptah Originals, ORIGINALS, Ptah, PTAH Originals, ORIGINALS.com is my website. And of course, I'm on PayPal. What you need to do is go to Facebook and friend me at Ptah, PTAH Asar, ASAR. My name now on Facebook is Ptah Asar. And I'll friend you, and we can and you can go to the descriptions below. You can also get my book. I just republished my book. The first book I published, I was with Durand's Publishing Company 10 years ago. They stole every dime. $1 million they stole from me. This was a best-selling book 15 years ago. It deals with the origins of existence and creation development of the universe according to our ancient African Egyptian ancestors, Kemetic ancestors. Okay, and I was stolen. The government's been stealing money from me. I got millions. I can't get on the bus right now.
That's on Amazon.
I just got this. Excuse me.
On the website. Is that on
I
Amazon?
just had my. This book is in every major bookstore right now. It's in every major bookstore. You just Google the Cosmic Egg, aka the Primeval Germ, a journey of 59 plus 21 zeros. At any major bookstore is now supplied there. It's online, available right now online. I have my own books that I sell, which I'll give you an autographed copy, and I'll throw a calendar in there. I'll throw everything I got in the book at you. Okay, I need you to send the book to me. Send the cash to me. I'm on Cash App. I'm at $_ lower caps PTAHSAR SASAR, Ptah Asar, okay, with the $. And I have my own books. I just purchased 300 books already. I'm getting ready to do a book. I'm going to the Museum of the National Center of Afro-American Artists in Roxbury, Boston, Mass., where I am the chief mortuary architecture of the Royal Burial Chamber of Nesubiti of Sparta, 25th dynasty Egyptian Nesubiti, which is a king, Nesubiti of Sparta. I reconstructed the only Egyptian reconstructed tomb room burial chamber in the United States of America. It's located at the Museum of the National Center for Afro-American Artists, 300 Walnut Ave, Roxbury, Massachusetts. The best kept secret in America. You don't even got to go to Kemet. You come in Boston, come to Roxbury, which we have our major Roxbury. Our major town in Roxbury now is called Nubian Square. There it is there, PtahOriginals.com. Thank you, brother. Thank you very much. Yes. And Nubian Square and we have the Museum of the National Center of Afro-American Arts where I celebrate the Red Pet every July 25th. We're there with the whole community of Boston, Roxbury especially, and we celebrate the Red Pet, the rising of Ubin Subtit. We sing the song, Everybody Rise, Rise for Ubin Subtit, Subtit's Rising, which is Hetty Copra's Hemtepi, his chief Hemtepi, who taught him everything. His name is ancestor. He's deceased now. He's an ancestor. His name is Hetty Copra. He's the chief. He's the Hemtepi of the White and Gold Lotus Temple of Stone Temple Shrine of Amun Ra of Stone Mountain, Georgia, and his Hemet Aset Mary Amen Aset Mary Amen. And I dedicate each annual Red Pet to Hetty Copra. And you take you inside the tomb room. I have hundreds of guests come every year. We sit down and we celebrate the Red Pet. We sing the song. The song was made by Hetty Copra. He did it, and I dedicate this. That's the national anthem. Our national anthem for the Red Pet is the Hetty Copra, and it's called "Everybody Rise." And I sing it, and I can't even sing, and I got to sing it. I sing it every year, and I'm the worst singer in the world, but I don't care. I'm singing it, okay? Because I ain't in no fashion show. I ain't trying to prove nothing to nobody. I just want to prove myself to the ancestors and to get my hot balance in the scale when I walk to the halls of double right and double truth, where the soul is purged of all sins, where I will see all the faces of all the Netadus and pronounce the Usa, Medu Nefer, Hekau, Anuk, Abet Queb, Anuk, Abet Queb, I am pure, Anuk Pertotep, Anuk Pertotep.
Yeah, and that's it. That's all. So I'm gonna close out with mine.
And in the closing, my closing words are,
go ahead, brother.
In the words of our paternal father, his name is Asar Unepa Kentiamenti, and he says that within the whole of the universe, nothing is ever added and nothing is ever lost. It's been a pleasure to be on your show. I am honored that Khepera Ptah invited me to your show. I think you are an astounding guest. I'm glad I am so divine and Nefer to meet you, my Siba. And it was a positive, it was a beautiful platform that you have here, and I hope I can be invited on, because I usually not invited back to anybody's platform because but I appreciate just being there for once, and if I could be here again, I appreciate that, Todd. I take what I can get, brother. And to all the people listening to this platform today that I was invited to by brother Khepera Ptah and bro and Ra Black Storm, I am so blessed, and I would like to hope everybody subscribe, and share, and donate something to the brother so he can keep on bringing us the dynamic guests to his platform, to his brand. And we say to you, dua, dua, dua.
Dua. Like I always say, yeah. Peace, power, prosperity. Black Storm. Wait, hold up. Hold up. 1 second before we close. I got one more question. My girl, Cash Bobby was with me for a minute. I gotta get her in. So let's see. I'm gonna put this up, and we'll close out with her question. Real quick. All right. He says, is there an entity? Hold on. Let me get this echo right here. All right. It says, is there an entity that resides over me if my birthday is June 27th? So I'm gonna let the elder, because he got the calendar, so I'm gonna let him tap into that. Go ahead, brother Ptah.
Absolutely. So June 27th. So June 27th would be in the 10th month, would be in the last month of Ptah, because there's only 10 months in the year. And okay, June is the month of Ptah. Okay, and it says here June and July. At the bottom, it tells you June and July 2020, 24. And we say, okay, June 24th, this is July. Okay, no, we go back one more. Okay, coming at you. Sekhmet. Sekhmet is the ninth month. June. June 11th. Okay, we are in Ptah. Okay, I'm sorry. June 24th. Okay, it's 9 days of the week. We're at the second day. The second column, the second register is Monday, the 24th. June, she said June 27th, right?
June 27th. Yep.
June 27th. June 27th is July 27th is on a Thursday. June 27th is on a Thursday. Okay, June 27th is on a Thursday, but that's on the Gregorian side. Okay, now we know that to be the June 27th is the day of Happy, and we go down two registers, it'll be the second day of Happy. So she was born under the nature of Happy. And that's the day, and she'll be on the second day of Happy, which now she's solarizing herself. And then the month would be the month of Ptah. Month in Meduneta is Abet. So it'll be the 10th Abet. It'll be the 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It'll be the 15th Heru day. Just like today is the 15th Heru day of the month of Sobek. This is the 15th Heru day. Chibi is born on the 15th Heru day of the 9th Abet month. And then we have the lunar month, the lunar cycle added in there, to know of the lunar cycle. And then the Renpet would be the year would be 13. So her nature would be Happy. Happy would be the birthday of the nature of her birth. All right. And the month of that birth would be the month of Ptah. So Ptah would be the month, and Happy would be the nature who governs that day. You know what I mean? So she can have her altar set up for Happy, being her deliverer to the cosmic forces that unfold, allow her love, guidance, protection to the daily experience of ponderable matter, and so on and so forth. But it all culminates down to this last 5 days, because there's only 360 days in a year. The next 5 days, that's the 360 day in a year, which is the 19th of July on the Gregorian calendar. The next 5 days are not even on the calendar. This is what the Greeks couldn't figure out. So what they do, they take the 5 extra days and they make an intercalendary month. They throw 5 days into a month. There's only 1 month. There's supposed to be 30-something days, but there's only 5 days in it. They had to create another month just to put the 5 extra days of the ancestors in there. But they don't understand. We didn't even put the ancestors in the month, because this is when your spirituality takes over. So on the 30th, on the 29th, on the 19th of July, the next 5 days, on the 20th, we celebrate the birthday of Heru'ur, the firstborn. Then we celebrate the birthday of Asar, the secondborn of Newton Seb. And then we will celebrate the birthday of Set. On his day, I light a candle and I walk away. I ain't hanging out with Uncle Set. I ain't eating nothing he's eating. I ain't hanging out. Uncle Set is who took over the planet as God. He's this guy that they worship as God. He's the one that they say, he tells you don't worship no other gods but me, because he's a jealous God, right? Why? This is what they tell you how it happens, because through the livid. Like, he wasn't practicing the livid. Uncle Set, all the gods ate mono, which means if I ate a strawberry in the morning, I eat a strawberry all day. It's called a mono-livit, or you call it a mono diet, whatever you want to call it. But if you eat an apple in the morning, you eat an apple all day. It's mono is Latin for one, right? Set's down at the end of it. So all the guys are sitting at the table, Ra's at the front. Oh, you got Shu and Tef Newt, Seven Newt, and all the Netcharoos are sitting at the table eating mono. And there's Uncle Set at the bottom of the table, all the way down there. He's eating this, he's eating that. Ra looks over at Seb, at Newt, and Shu and say, "What's up with your grandson? What's up with your son? And you didn't teach this kid any manners?" So he got banished from the table because he couldn't eat right. He wanted to eat everything. So Uncle Set got pushed. Uncle Set, though, used to be at the front of the bark for a million years. It's called the Majet boat. And he's at the front with a big spear, and he's harpooning a Peppy. He was Ra's #1 man in the old days. Uncle Set.
Yeah.
He was harpooning a Peppy, the cosmic serpent that kind of keeps Ra from rising every morning. That's why Ra made the earth rotate. See? Because it used to be earth didn't rotate. Once the earth rotated, there was day and night. That's when Heru'ur came in. This when you got to understand how these Netcharoos became manifested themselves. Okay, so now Set was Ra's #1 man, but hey, he had to go, so he got replaced by Heka. Heka means magic. It was a guy with a car on top of his head with a harpoon. That was after Uncle Seth. So it was Uncle, but Uncle Seth had to go, I can't hang out with your grandson. The guy don't know how to eat right. But he found out that there was a vortex that opens up a time every 26,000 years. It's called Lion's Gate, and it opens up. The universe folds, and the wormhole opens up. Uncle Seth comes through, and he found out that he had the
Wait,
right.
so the Lions Gate is not 8-8 like they say on the internet?
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me.
The Lions Gate is not 8-8.
All right, you can have mathematical equations, So once you get into the words, you got to be able to triangulate each one of them. Then I can give you a good response to it. I'm not trying to add no corruption into the information, but once the gate opened up, Uncle Seth knew that he had a right to be there for 2,160 years. He came in 5,000 years ago. Okay, so for 2,160 years, he had the right to rule. But what he did was, since he had to give up his rulings at a certain time, what he did was they stole time. This is what I'm trying to tell you. They stole your time. I wouldn't give this time back to you niggas anyway. What do I give it back to you for? You gonna bring Jesus to the people? You gonna bring Muhammad to them? I'm serious though, brother. You know what I mean? When right now, the glacier Alps are melting. The glaciers are melting. The world is the East Coast. The new global map is going to be redesigned because Boston's gone, New York's gone, North Carolina, the Gulf Center of the Gulf and whatever that place is in South Carolina, Milton Head. Ain't no more golfing down in Milton Head. It's all underwater. Everything is underwater. And the earthquakes, the tsunamis, you know what I mean? Where there was land, there's water. Where there's water, there's land. This is now. We're living in the time of two great ages. We just passed out of the great age of Pisces, which is Uncle Seth, into the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius, dawning. You know that song, The Fifth Dimension? That's the age of Aquarius, but we call it Ma'ara Asar. And we have lived in one past age in the 1900s, the 50s, 60s, 70s, and now we just dawned on Aquarius. We lived in two great ages. There's not too many people that can say that. This is the greatest times of all of us right now. This information we're giving to you, Brother Seba Pepper Ptah, is to prepare you so that you can be able to take your family out of this land. Because where there's drop me off in the middle of the desert. That's all I gotta say. Okay, because where there's water to be land and where there's land to be water, drop me on the highest mountain, drop me off. You know what I'm saying? Whatever man's telling me to eat, I'm not eating anything he's telling me to eat. He wants me to take a shot. I'm not taking no shots for this man. Right, I'm not doing nothing that he's telling me to do. Everything he's telling me to do, I'm going opposite. But anyways, I went off to another thing. Thank you. I'm at www.ptahoriginals.com. I appreciate the time that you allowed me to speak, brother. You know you got to slow me down. Divine blessings.
No, you dropping too much fire. I can't. This supposed to end 45 minutes ago. Y'all keep going too much fire. I gotta let y'all.
I want to do a part two, so he can come back. That's what it is be good if people can break it down. Like if you can come in like have part one, part two, part three. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the tip of the iceberg. He got way more than this.
No, absolutely. He's gonna have to do a solo, Khepera. You gonna have to come back solo. Yeah, I two of y'all is too much, man. It's like two shotguns, man. It's two double barrels hitting them at once, man. I don't know if they're ready, man. So I gotta cut y'all up. But I'll bring y'all back towards what I want to do is I'm gonna bring y'all back individually as the months go along, but what I want to do is around the solstice, I'm going to bring you two guys back and we maybe do like a marathon 3-4 hour sessions and we just, build and prepare the people for the new so-called the new year, right? The American New Year. We know that's not the real New Year, but we'll prepare them for the winter solstice and do that. And I think that would be great. But yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Thank you guys for everything, man. I mean, yeah, brother said it's the Twin Towers. Yeah, it's like, Elijah Wan, Ralph Sampson, like definitely Duncan and what was it, David Robinson and Tim Duncan. That's what this felt like, man. This was heavy. Like I said, I gotta go back. I'm gonna listen to this in the morning, after I meditate, and because I'll be off tomorrow. I'm going to re-listen to this, take some more notes, and get into this because y'all were dropping it. But yeah, as I say to y'all, you know, and we already closed out with the libation and the ancestors, to the ancestors, as I always say, peace, power, and prosperity, everybody. I hope you're having a great day. And don't sleep on yourselves, so sleep is the cousin of death, all right? And tap in, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe, share this knowledge. And yeah, tap in with the brothers. Definitely get that calendar. I'm going to be ordering that calendar tonight, so you'll see that Cash App, Brother Ptah. And yeah, tap into them on their social media platforms and get the knowledge, because they got it to give, man. And this is the time for us to wake up to our true selves and to our true divinity. Peace. Y'all two brothers stay here. I'm gonna just cut out the stream for everybody. Peace.